like to say thank you for all of you who are in attendance today and desire to be a part of county government. We welcome you. And in mind, we open up Supervisor Trainer, would you offer prayer?
Sure. Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we come this morning, first of all, to say thank you. We thank you, O Lord, for just keeping us from the last time we were in this particular setting up until now. We thank you for everybody that's here, O Father, and we pray that everything that's being discussed and decided will be pleasing in your sight. Father God, we just thank you for things as well as they are. We know there's a lot of stuff going on, but we just thank you, O Lord, that you have allowed us one more opportunity to come to this courthouse and discuss the business of your people, O Father. And we're praying special blessings upon anybody who's asked us for special prayer this morning. Touch them in a mighty special way, Father, and just help to continue to lead guide our country and different things in the right direction to do things that are pleasing in your sight. And Father, we pray that once our business is done, that you give us traveling grace to go our separate ways, where we may go and find things in order once we get there. In Jesus' name we pray. Let us all say together, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Supervisor Trainer. Moving forward, approval of October 2021 board orders. You have them in your packet.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we approve the October board orders. All in favor?
I have a no on that one.
Motion carries 3-1. Supervisor Miller, no. Okay, we now would like to go.
Good.
I'm telling you.
Come on in. You didn't park
I had to
illegally.
practice my parallel parking this morning.
Did you?
Okay,
You didn't park it.
my bad.
Good morning.
Did you have a chance to review the October board order?
I did.
Let's get a vote on,
I did.
vote on that.
I'm good.
Okay. 4-1. 4-1. Moving forward, we'd like to enter into a public hearing. Need a motion to enter into a public hearing in relation to the Chapel Hill Road abandonment.
I make a
The
motion.
public hearing, motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Any questions? All in favor, enter into a public hearing. Motion carries 5-0. Do we have anyone have any questions or concern? I know Attorney Robertson would address your concerns, I believe, in relation to that.
That is true. I actually was in the paper this last week. If anybody has any questions, concerns, or comments, now's the time to make them. If not, the motion would be to abandon that said road.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we abandon the Chapel Hill Road, that section of the Chapel Hill Road. Are there any questions? All in
Just for
favor?
I'm sorry, just for clarity purposes and for the paper, that road that is being abandoned, it has technically had been abandoned years ago. It's got trees growing up in the middle of it. So this is not a road that's in current use.
Just makes it official.
This just makes it official.
Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Motion carries.
May I say something? When we get, I want to share with y'all when we get later on, the road that we had talked about before in Heritage Colony. He's come back and wants to extend it all the way to the flat, says that's how it originally was, got me a 1976 document. But, you know, it's got trees growing in the middle, so when it gets to supervisor stuff, we'll talk about that. It's kind of in the same condition as the road we just abandoned.
Okay. I need a motion to exit the public hearing pertaining to said road. Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Moving forward, citizen comment section. Do we have any citizens who are present who would like to come forward and make a comment?
I would just like to introduce myself. My name is Missy Younger. I represent Congressman Trent Cowley. I just want you to be aware he does have an office in the area in Lowndes County, and I represent him in this area. I'm going to put a few cards right here on the table, and we're always at your service. Don't hesitate to call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other citizens who would like to make a comment, please come forward.
I'm Joel Downey. I'm the director of Starkville Habitat for Humanity. And I want to invite all the supervisors to our dedication of our 71st house, which will be December 17th at 11 o'clock in the morning. And it's going to be at 71 Azalea Drive. We are going to be working on a development on 16th Section Road. So I'd really appreciate it if if you're able to come out there and meet our homeowners, meet our board members, the volunteers that work there, and especially I'd like for you to see the quality of construction that we build, because I'm very proud of what we do. I think Habitat houses, even though they're built by volunteers, are some of the best built houses in Starkville. And with the development going on 16th Section Road, we have come into a bit of a problem with our infrastructure. As you know, infrastructure is going to be a large part of the cost of that. We had planned to build as we went, do the infrastructure as we went. And we had talked to Mr. Pritchard about that, and he was okay with that. But then it came the sewer system out there. There's good ways and better ways to do a sewer system. The best way to do the sewer system is to do it all at once. And that was not part of our original plans. So we will need funding to help with that. And I think that that's eligible for the, and I'm going to get the name wrong, but I believe it was the CARES funding that you guys had, infrastructure development. And so I'd like to present a project for that at some point in the near future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope to see you all December 17th.
Thank
Thank
Speaking
you.
to the quality work, I'm great friends with John and Linda
Yeah,
Brazil,
yeah.
and I know John is a top shelf construction guy.
Yeah,
He knows what he's doing.
and he really works well with volunteers, so I mean, he's a double agent there, so, yes. Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate you. You offer great service.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Do we have any additional citizens who would like to come forward? If no additional citizens would like to come forward, move forward with Mr. Melvin Harris. If you're present, please come forward. If not, I don't know if that's your Orlando trainer, I believe. That's
Right.
your-
That one and also the next one also too. I don't see Mr. Lott here either, so I guess we can proceed.
Okay. Moving forward, Sharon Martin, Blackjack Community Concern. I don't see Miss Martin. Miss Martin is not here. So,
Wow. It's
continuing
moving
on.
fast today.
They
Not gonna
might-
jinx us
they
yet.
No, I
might
was
come
gonna say
in-
don't jinx it.
They might come in later, maybe. We might have to work them in. Butler and Snow, Mr. Sam Keys. Welcome.
Morning.
Good to see you all again this morning. What you have before you for action today is on the new money piece, the road and bridge, primarily road and bridge bond issue. It's what we call the bond resolution. And it's just one resolution. It has attached to it the form of the investor letter, private placement, bond purchase agreement, and all those things. What this will do is posture us, and as soon as the development bank approves the same set of documents a week from Wednesday, to Wednesday next week, then the underwriter will be able to, similar to a refunding, negotiate the sale of those bonds, and will be able to, at that point in time, give you the interest rates, that you'd be happy with, and then set a closing date so we can move pretty quickly toward validation and get that knocked out. I know there's been a lot of discussion for tax purposes. We have to do this due diligence to make sure the money is going to be that you're anticipating getting and spending is going to be for purposes that don't run afoul of the federal tax laws, and that's the reason Elizabeth, excuse me, my partner, who is also a tax lawyer, has been asking the questions about, okay, approximately how much money are you anticipating spending in these different categories? And we broke it down, generally speaking, into your, you're going to have your building, county office, and I'm not sure what all it's going to be used for. I think maybe the health department.
Well, we have more than one department will go in that huge building. No?
Right, yeah,
Yes, free up some more
exactly,
space,
right.
right. I'm just saying if that needs to be documented, I think
No,
that may be something we need to.
The only thing that we were concerned with is to make sure that it's gonna be either that state or county offices as opposed to extra space being leased to some other activity that's not directly county related. And I know it's sometimes it's counterintuitive, but things that kind of sound public sometimes for tax purposes are not. Even though they may be legitimate and all, but I'm satisfied based on my discussions that what you reasonably anticipate, and we understand circumstances can change, that it's going to be used primarily for the health department, and then for other county-related administrative offices of one sort or the other. Is that what everybody feels comfortable with? And then let's see, you've got heavy equipment that'll be, that you're estimating somewhere in the neighborhood of probably $2 million worth. And, none of those figures have to be hard numbers. It just gives us some concept of what we're looking at for planning purposes and, again, tax analysis. And then everything else is going to be used for roads. And I had a nice long discussion with Mr. Williams last Wednesday, and then Mr. Pritchard, the engineer, Thursday, I think it was, and he has satisfied me that what you're laying out there, basically the remainder of the money is going to be used for roads and maybe possibly bridges, depending on what y'all decide in your work sessions that are coming up. But all of it's going to be either what we call, for tax purposes, major reconstruction or actual construction, one or the other, which, in other words, you're going to be doing, you're not going in there doing potholes. You're going to be doing the grading to recreate or reconstruct the subsurfaces, at least at some level. And some will be a pretty deep level, according to Mr. Pritchard, and some will be a little bit less. And I forgot what his engineering technology or descriptions were, but it satisfied us from a tax standpoint that it's going to be major work that's going to last a while. So we didn't have any issue with that. And I think we've got those questions answered satisfactory, that we don't have any kind of reservations or whatever. And we will follow up, and obviously as time goes on, things change. Just let us know to make sure that we don't have to take some action to mitigate any tax consequences. And I would not expect anything, but based on what you're proposing to do. So, that's it. Again, you've got before you one resolution that I would ask for your action on today, and then we'll be in a position to start pricing the bonds sometimes a week from this coming Wednesday.
What are the interest rates looking like? Are they moving slightly up?
They are. Lynn, I wish Lynn could be here, by the way. He had a conflict, because he could give you a more up to date on that. But they're still looking good. The interest rates are low, and and now it's still a good time. Even though they're beginning to creep up, they were so low. You got a little bit of window here before things start getting back to, oh, here we go again.
Sam, do we have an estimate of the time? And the only reason I'm asking is that I have a contract on the building that we're working to get. Do we have kind of an estimate as to when?
Yeah, I would say early November. December. So give us. Again, the development bank can't act until a week from Wednesday, And, you know, we'll have the validation process underway, but we expect to be able to price almost right after that. And so, you know, I would project that you ought to be fairly safe to say early December.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I know they're anxious to know about all that. Unrelated to this, which even I get confused talking about it since we got the two transactions. I don't have an update on the refunding other than I think Lynn reported to you, you know, what the savings were going to be last time we was here. We expect to close on that here within the next week and a half. So we'll be coming back just to get some. You've already approved everything, but I'll be getting some signatures, you know, the closing signatures here in about a week or so.
Gotta give you your final numbers on what we did, the actual.
Yeah, I don't have those with me. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, I know it's Mr. Lynn's, you know.
Yeah, he would know off the top of his head. They were good, though.
Yeah, real good savings.
So-
So thank y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I've got.
So I make a motion, we approve the request.
I believe we have four documents.
No, it's just one.
One
It's just
document,
one.
that's just a
Yeah, that's what I'm
resolution.
saying. It's there,
Only
all those
resolution.
documents are attached to that one resolution.
Resolution, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Supervisor Trainer,
Made the
your
motion.
motion.
So
I'll
moved.
second.
Supervisor Trainer, motion by Supervisor Trainer to approve the resolution, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions? No questions, all in favor?
All right.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right.
Thank you much.
Well, y'all take care. See you
Short
again
and
soon.
sweet, wasn't it? Thank you, Mr. Keys.
Thank you.
You bet.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing great.
You feel good?
Thank you, with the integrity group, we appreciate having you.
I don't know, I had some updated packets, I know that you were given one, did they get the updated packet?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This year, you had 4 people to go into reinsurance. And just their claims were over $750,000. The reinsurance company paid out close to $500,000. So that's been a lot compared to the past. So on the first thing, it's hard for me talking this. On the first thing is your renewal, and we'll go over the supporting documentation when we see the renewal. At keeping it, you've got a $70,000 deductible, specific deductible. They have lasered one of the employees at $210,000. And do you all know what laser is?
No, explain that to me.
Okay, the county has a $70,000 deductible. So when any employee exceeds $70,000 in claims, the reinsurance picks up and pays after that, 100% after that for the rest of the year, for the rest of the plan year. And so there was a person that had high,
Beyond that 70.
yeah, had quite a bit, so they lasered. You actually had 4, but one they lasered at $210,000. And that means that you will pay the $70,000, and then you will pay another $210,000 before they'll start paying the claims. Now, to bring things in perspective, you've had employees in the past that have had $1 million laser on them. So this is relatively low compared to, and we only had data through September. This is just claims data through September, and we're looking at 2 more months of claims data with those people still being in treatment. So it's going to be higher. The reimbursements are going to be higher than what's presented today. And I even looked out this morning for November 1st to see if they had already dropped the new numbers, and they had not. But I can get those numbers updated.
Ms. Judon, help me real quick. I have 2 proposals in my package right here. Which one do I need to be with?
I think the one in this,
Yeah,
right here, right, the one that was in there?
it's,
There were two. there.
okay, that one's, okay, I did bring, because we have updated proposals.
Okay, so this one right here,
Which one is that?
this one right here,
Yes,
the
that one.
29th.
So you can take that one and look at it and see how much negotiating I
Okay.
had to do to really get them to come down on this. That was the first proposal that they came in with. So they lowered it, they lowered the laser, they lowered the rates, on the, family coverage, and they lowered, the increase. They came in at 14%, they lowered it to 11%. And this just came in Friday, you can look at the date on it.
Is that in this one?
So,
Would you mind repeating the amount in which the laser takes over?
This is 25.
okay, with any employee that exceeds $70,000, the reinsurance picks up then for the rest of the year. Now, the laser is on top of that. The $210,000 laser is on top of that 70,000 that then they'll pick up and start paying. We really,
Whereas in the past, it was a lot more we would have to pay before they would pick up and start paying.
no, this is, when there's a laser, it's done on an individual or individual, and it's just specific to that
It don't
person.
matter.
It's just, this one is just specific.
Did y'all get the updated one? I don't have the updated one. It's supposed to
Just
say
pass out
29th in the bottom of the
Okay.
pack,
Yeah.
not
Here.
25th.
I got this one. Good.
It's outside, it's not, it wasn't inside of it, it's outside of that.
That's got it.
Huh. Well, let's
These
just,
ones. Who else
Anybody else
needs
need
one?
another one?
So on that specific employee or person, you'll pay the 70,000 and then 210,000, and then reinsurance will pick up on that person. Like I said, you've had employees in the past few years that have had $1 million lasers. So if they first came in at 350,000 for this person, and I got them to lower it. So, we'll be able to go over, so the rates are, let me tell you, if you'll pull your sheet, if you'll pull this sheet out, we'll compare the rates to last year.
And let me just I'm glad to see that the employee's name is crossed out in here, and in the future, can we get these without employees' names being
Certainly,
on? Okay.
certainly. That's no problem at all. Okay, if you look at this, now this is the rates for the year we're in, the current year. And you're currently paying right at $39,000 a month for reinsurance. And if you come down to this number, it's going up to right at 43,000. Do you need one?
You're reading my mind.
Thank you.
But the total cost, if you take, because the county pays 100% of employee only, the total cost for employees are, just employees are just a little over 30,000, and that's just an increase from last year of like 3,000
From the 27 right there.
on the employee only. That's the cost for the county. Are you following that?
Sort of, kinda.
You want me to show you?
I'm looking at the numbers and I'm trying
Okay,
to follow
I'm
along
sorry.
with you.
Okay, this is what you're currently, paying per month, the 38,000, based on current enrollment,
Gotcha.
is this amount per month, the
Okay.
38,000 and change. This is what it's going to, like 43,000. Okay, with a difference of 4,260 a month. But cost to the county is, it's gonna be an increase of 2,000, right at $3,000 a month,
29.84.10.
Right.
Is the difference.
is the difference.
So let me ask you this, why instead of the 42.60.76, is it only 29.84.10 increase? In other words, I'm asking, and I'm glad that it's only, well, it's less, but why is it? Is that because of the negotiation, or is that what? would be I understand it's going up, but instead of going up from 38 to 43,
Yeah, it is going up that much too. But that's everybody, that's even dependent coverage.
right, I get that, but I'm saying, how is it that we only pay the 30,000?
115.
You know what I'm saying, 11589, which is great, that's $12,000 less a month.
Yeah, but the 12,000 is what
That's an
the
employee, though.
employees pay who have dependent coverage.
Okay.
And it includes the retirees and your COBRA. The retirees pay 100%.
Okay, yeah.
We only pay 30 and other
We're
people pay
actually
12.
paying the 30, the other
Group.
13, is your employees paying that?
Right,
Okay, that was my question.
right.
So thank you.
Everybody understand that? Okay. And so if you keep everything the same as it is right now, the rates are, single rate is 204.87, and the family rate is 521.24. Okay, we're gonna go over some documents for you to, okay, if you'll pull this one's very important. This is with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I always find this amazing every year. If you will look at the different categories right here, it tells the number of occurrences, like for hospitalization, there were 411. Okay, the charges were $4,700,000 and something. Blue Cross paid out a little over $1 million. If you don't believe that's a savings, I mean, that's like, what, 75% off of the charges?
25%.
25%.
25%.
Yeah.
No, it's,
You said they paid
You're charged $4 million.
they're paying
$1
4
million.
million and they paid out 1 million.
Then that's paying a quarter of
A
it.
quarter of the charges.
Maybe,
Yeah, I know, I said it's
Oh, it
it's
goes-
less 75%.
okay.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
And the physician is 573 compared to 190. The pharmacy, 205 and versus 179, but not included in this are the rebates the county received. You did receive rebates on the pharmacy. And then Allied, that's everything else that is not included in the other two, and it's 345,000 compared to 161,000. So across the bottom, you'll see the total charges are 5,858,000 compared to what was paid, 1,569,000.
When you're saying what was paid, you're talking about by the people, by the employees and the
No,
individuals.
that's what was paid out by the insurance company.
By Blue Cross.
What did the insured
That
person
doesn't
have
look
to
like a
pay?
lot to me, does it?
Do you have that on here about?
What
how
did
much
the insured-
How much the individual had to pay? That's not on this sheet.
Yeah, well, it's
That's the
on,
charges, that's what Blue Cross paid. That's not very
if you'll
much.
go to this page, this is gonna be very interesting for you. If you'll pull this page out,
So, can we go back, Ms. Debbie?
Sure.
I'll just ask you this. Okay, so the total charges were 5,858,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that's a good thing because they covered 1.5 million of it?
that's, Blue Cross.
I mean, I'm just asking, that's, 'cause
Okay.
they don't touch a lot of the things that are having to be paid. So is there
No,
anything
that's not,
that's
no. That has nothing to do with what is and is not paid. That has to do with Blue Cross's contracts of negotiation with all the providers. That they get that type of discount
They
with the,
discount the services that one
right.
party buys.
ITL County Hospital sends in a bill.
Mm-hmm.
For- Blue Cross is gonna take that bill and it's gonna discount it. That's the way it is with anybody in the network. They're gonna discount it. They have a.
And then the bill goes back to the insuree. Okay.
Right.
No, I mean, I got it. I just, in my mind, that doesn't look like a lot, and you're saying it is, so that's the reason I'm asking you, you know.
Based on the discount.
That's the discounted
I know-
part. I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't, I get what you're saying.
But if there were no discounts, you would have paid out
You paid the whole amount.
$5 million.
Yeah, I understand.
But because of the discounts, it's 1.5.
I understand.
I have a question, because I'm gonna end up having to do the minutes, I wanna make certain I understand. You're saying that the starting price was 5 million.
5.8.
Because of the discounts, because Blue Cross was involved in it, we only ended up having to pay 1.5, or I'm using round figures here.
Right.
So the other amounts we're not having to pay by the county or the,
That's correct. The difference in this, now in the payments,
that's not what, that's what I was confused about. So
That's what we're not receiving, you're saying.
okay.
Now we are. Okay,
And
but
also,
that's not
you
what we're perceiving that you're saying.
Okay, and also in the payment amount that they paid, 1,569, that includes, that's the amount that they're gonna settle for, but out of that amount even is the employee deductible, it's their 20%, even comes out of that. So the county didn't even see all of that.
I got you.
That's coming out of that. So, any questions about that? I'm sorry, I
No,
always look at the discount, how much the discount was.
So you're saying $1,000 service in a roundabout way, say somebody has a foot worked on, whatever. $1,000, they're discounting it, that percentage, it may be instead of 100%, $1,000, it would be, take 20% off of that, it'd be an $800
Right.
service instead of $1,000.
Right,
Okay.
but if you took 75% off that, it would be 250. See what I'm saying? So, this is what's interesting. If you'll pull this one, I went back from the time that I've been fortunate enough to have this account. In 2014, if you'll start at the top and you see what the single rate and the family rate was. I have these glasses still. And you had a $50,000 specific deductible. You had that the first 2 years. We advised that it go up because an entity this size, we almost never see a $50,000 deductible. Almost never see that. So we agreed, the county agreed to go to 75,000. But look at your rates out here. The second and third year were the same. The fourth, fifth, and sixth year rates were the same. Except that last year, they brought your deductible down to $70,000. Are you following that?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody have any questions about that?
No, but if you look at the pay scale of an employee and you look at their deductible, $75,000.
No, their deductible is not
This is the
75,000.
counties.
It's the
County's
counties,
deductible,
that's
okay,
the
okay.
specific deductible.
So the reason they came down, is it because we're a constant customer, is it a?
Well, it's a lot of things. You had a good year last year. You've been, they've been there for you, you've been there for them, and it's just worked out for a great partnership for them, and hopefully for you, for the county. And so this year, and these asterisks out here are those years that they've had lasers. And then this one, that asterisk is the same laser, was the same person on those years. It was the same person who was lasered. Now there's one this year for the 210, and the rates go up just very little, even with the amount that they paid out. They looked at all the years, and if they had only had this year, it would have been much higher than this. But they took all of the years that you've been with them, and they were discounted it. Although you had high payouts, and it's not over. You've got 2 more months coming that they'll be picking up on. And you've got one very close to it now, so it may be 5 by the time of the plan year. Any questions about this? Has anybody heard any complaints about the insurance?
Just I guess the pharmacy side of it is the different drugs that you're getting, and now you can only get generic on certain things instead of,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, if there's a generic available, they have to have generic, they have to get generic. if, they can, for some reason, they can't take the generic, it can be appealed with the pharmacy department and see if they can pay for the second one.
Okay, yeah, because that's the only, you know, if you speak of complaints or concerns, that was what I guess I've heard, you know. And sometimes the generic, quite honestly, doesn't do with the,
I agree.
you know, the
I
main
agree
brand
with you.
does.
We get this all the time from all the groups. Yes.
I have a prescription that I have to take once a month and they will not pay for it.
Can you get with me later on this? Okay. We'll see what's going on with that. So that's your renewal. Oh, and the last page is there was no increase in your dental. The rates remain the same on the dental. Now, if the board approves this today, and I hope you do, I'm gonna need some documents signed because Blue Cross is going, give me the signed documents, give me the signed documents. But they do understand government, that, you know, that you can run behind with the government. But as soon as, and all I need is, like, for this page to be signed, and if you go with the 70,000, which is, I suggest you do, it's just sign on here so I can send it back to the reinsurance company and they'll send the contract. And I can also take these numbers, and I'm gonna have to have something signed by Blue Cross and Blue Shield that I gotta fill in all the numbers, and then I bring it for it to be signed, and then it goes, then I can send it back to Blue Cross.
Help me with one thing right here. I
Okay.
see in this, in, back to that page that you
Okay.
showed us. It says specific contract paid back here, like 1512.
Yeah, okay.
3912.
Oh, that's a great question.
Which
Okay.
page you on, John?
The
This
same
one?
one she had right there, I was just curious, is
That's
that
a-
the type contract?
That's a great
Or
question. Okay,
percentage.
when we took over the account, we were going to pay in plan years, but we were gonna go back 3 months and pay. If anything that came in after your contract was up with the prior company, we were gonna pay it 3 months back. So every year, it adds another 12 months. So, this year it's 9912. So that means that if there's an invoice that comes in from 2015,
Okay.
it's gonna be paid. It goes back the number of months that it will pay. The 12 months is the
Okay.
plan year.
Okay.
But the higher numbers are the
That's the
numbers
months
that,
back that it'll go.
it goes back, all the way back to the beginning.
So next year will be 111.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. And that's a good thing, because there's always something that comes out. It may be, there may be some, a lawsuit going on or something.
From 2017, so it blankets that.
Yes.
Okay.
Any claim that's not been paid and is submitted, it'll be paid. If it's an allowable thing, it'll be paid. So you're covered since 2014 for any outstanding claims. Any
Well-
questions on this?
Well, Blue Cross has made the adjustments with retirees, and, Blue Cross being secondary, and,
Yes.
in relation to that.
Yes, we have the Medicare's primary. On all the retirees that get Medicare, you have 1 or 2 that's retired prior to being eligible.
At the last board meeting, there was a group that came and said they could save us some money. Are we gonna wait to see if that's comparable, or what does the board wanna do? Did we approve for them to?
We don't have enough time. This will affect December 1. Ms. Judon and I spoke, what she's having to get together, like she was just getting information Friday. She was late getting information that I needed to provide to another carrier to compare. And so the next board meeting, you will be coming back with the documents for the board to sign, correct?
Well,
Do you have it today for them? If they approve to go?
if they
this
approve
route?
it, yeah, I just need this thing signed right here, and I can go and prepare the documents for Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I just have to fill in the blanks with all the numbers, and then I'll bring it back, because it's to be signed in 2 or 3 places, to send back to Blue Cross. Any other questions? May I ask, I don't want to know who knows, but how did they propose you save money?
They did a proposal. They said they could save us money. They just wanted to look and see if they could. So I think the board decided, and we decided to let them do that, to move forward with that, and look at it, because we know the deadline. It always seems like we have multiple carriers come in right at the end, at the deadline, to present to us, and competition is good,
What?
And
Oh,
so,
I don't disagree with that.
So I don't know how they were projecting that, but they were. But you were saying that they didn't have the documentation, they didn't
We
put
were
it back
in
together?
communications trying to get information that she wasn't able to get.
Oh, okay.
Right.
She didn't get it till Friday, indeed.
The final thing I didn't
Okay.
get until Friday.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So,
But let me say this about, there are agents who differ with me on the way you do things. I'm a person who likes to keep it simple as possible. Because when you bring in something else that they're gonna have to, the employee or something's gonna have to file to, it just makes it very complicated for them. And if they go to the doctor, they don't even have to do anything. It's sent to Blue Cross. And then if they owe anything, they'll get an explanation of benefits of what they owe. And it's nothing else. Same with Delta Dental. It's simple. There's no
like I said, I don't know. We
Right.
have groups that come in every year
I know.
because this is a big account,
Yes, it is.
and people would like to have the opportunity, to present their proposal for the county to possibly move to that insurance carrier,
I agree.
and think that they have a product that they can present to us that we should consider. So that's the reason I was asking the board that, is because they did come to the last meeting, and so I didn't know if there was time or not to allow them to come back and present what they wanted to do. So, but if there's not, I understand.
Any questions about this?
My suggestion is move forward with this and then do like you said, because we have other companies that are interested and they're interested in increasing the services and offerings and some other things like that too. And of course, we've been at this juncture before, but I think at this point we need to go ahead and move forward with it, with what we have, with this proposal.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Miller, I'm sorry. Second by Supervisor Miller, that we move forward and continue with the same insurance policy that we have.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? If no questions, all in favor?
Yeah.
Motion carries 5-0.
Can I get a signature right on this page, and I'll bring the documents, I'll get the documents ready and bring back to Lois this afternoon. Rod, did you get everything straight with yours?
I would like to say that I called Dee Thursday or Friday, whatever it was, and I got a phone call within 30 minutes of Judon to help me get it figured out, and it frankly wasn't our side of it, it was somebody else's side of it, so
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
As we,
I can send you a copy.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tito.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your business. Okay.
as we move forward, we noticed that, as Sheriff Martin with Blackjack Grove concerned, we'd like to give you the opportunity to come forward, please.
Thank you.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, board. I need to have my mask on. I see everybody's mask on. You may not can understand me with it all. I mean, with it on, so I took it off. Y'all have y'all some. Thank you.
Sheriff Martin.
In the moderator group now.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, board, again.
Good morning.
I'm coming before you all because I'm hoping I can bring some attention to Blackjack community. That's why I lived ever since I was 7 years old. The community has become so broken down, so uncared for. I don't know whether anybody else has come before the board from Blackjack. I certainly hope so. But in this case, I feel like, I guess I'm like John the Baptist. I'm one crying in the wilderness because it's unsafe. The roads itself is unsafe. You have to drive sometimes on the wrong side of the road. Once you get past, and now let me back up, once you get past the new part that is coming in through the university, you know what I'm saying? And you're going straight through Blackjack. The road is not that bad. It's what you are beginning to see. Broke down stuff. People have dressed. Folks gathered under the stop signs. Trash everywhere on the property. On the road, there are bags of garbage sometimes thrown. I realize when a road when a community is going down or any place is going down, what will happen is nobody cares. I feel like we're uncared for in that community. The other thing is, the reason I'm here is because I'm asking for some county ordinance. If I don't know how this is gone by, I don't know if it takes a group of people or not, but I'm trying to find out what it is that we can do, because I have family and friends to come into the community. Some feel unsafe. I can feel unsafe at times, although our property is fenced in. But it's an unsafe community. Anybody and everybody in this room probably know that, because there's a lot more calls in Blackjack in that community. And I think it's due to the fact that it's just so uncared for. It's not off the roads, or the roads that's off the main roads. We only have a few that's paved, which is kind of unheard of. I really think that all the roads should be paved. It make the community look better. Not only that, I think it'd be better on people's cars and vehicles. I've called this in. I certainly hope you all are taking this very concerned situation of mine in consideration, because it's serious to me. I don't want to tear my car up. I don't want my daughter to tear her car up. And I don't want people who come to visit me tearing their cars up, coming down there. And I know that sounds extreme, but it's true. Potholes, roads that's unfinished or undone, the ups and downs, all of that. The road I live on needs to really be ditches still not cleaned out, still not dug in. Branches from trees is in the ditches. There's I noticed a speed sign on my road. You don't even see the sign when you turn in, because vines is all around it, tree branches is all around it. It have not been taken down. This is just ridiculous. And I'm appealing, asking you all, and my board, and my supervisor down there, to really come down there, drive through, not just during the day. Come down on the weekend, Friday evening, Saturday evening, and see what I see. See what a lot of us see. We have a church in that community. Cleanliness is next to godliness, so the word says. And so what I don't understand is why in the world that nobody is saying anything or nothing is being done, and the community is steady going down. Other communities don't look like this. I've gone through, I may not have gone through the worst communities, but I've gone through some. And they don't look quite as bad as Blackjack. We're only 2.5 miles from the university. We have people coming through all the time. And I'm saying this because people who don't live in Blackjack have come to me and told me. People's properties, they got all kind of old broke down trailers, old broke down refrigerators, couches. All this is right there on the roadside. So when folks come to visit me, no matter what my property look like, they got to get through all the muck and the mire of everybody else's property. Maybe you all can't do anything about other folks' property. But if there was an ordinance, they will be able to do something about it if they want to continue to stay there. And this is unfair to me, it's unfair to my family, it's unfair to older people, all of us. It's shameful. And it's ridiculous that we have to live that way. I've seen people urinating in the front yard, defecating in the front yard, all because they know nothing is going to be done. And this is unheard of, and I just can't stand it. And so that's why I can't take much more of it. I pay property taxes. And I should be treated like each and every one of y'all's property around this table. It should not be that I have to live in that kind of a mess. And anybody else. Now those who like doing that, they should be back on the hillside. Or down in the valley somewhere, I don't know. But the other concern is that how fast people drive on the road, how fast they drive on the off-roads. This is what I'm asking. Please try to pave all the roads and put speed bumps. ATVs have become a big deal. My nephew have one. He keep it on the property, and that is fine. And I know they pay a lot for those things. And they just dirt ride. But to fly down the road, I'm not saying he does this, but others do, to fly as fast as they fly. I mean, there are kids on this road. I can't believe people, they can do this. And when I call the sheriff, and I know him, he's told me to appeal. He's told me it's gonna take a lot of talking. It's gonna take a lot of people calling. And they come down and patrol. I have met with him. And I'm just not gonna hush until something is done. Something have got to be done, because I've been asking and begging and pleading for years. My mom and dad was alive when we started. Thanks to Mr. Trainer, he helped me get that road paved. And I said me because I felt like I pushed and worried him so bad. But that's just one of two other roads. There's several roads down there. And I have friends that live out of state that told me they're too ashamed to bring their son-in-laws home. Place that we really loved when we was growing up in the 70s. It was a beautiful place, we thought. But now it's so run down, it's like a third world country. And it's a shame that we have to deal with this. And that's why I'm here. Maybe there's a lot more I have down to say. But I felt like I've said the most important part, because I'm trying to appeal to you all. Somebody just ride down there and see what we're dealing with. And it's a shame that we have to deal with this. So, and everything that I've said, I am just asking if you guys can see fit to try to find a way to get a county ordinance going. I know not just in Blackjack. From what I understand, it have to be throughout the entire county, which I'm sure everybody else would be glad to have one too. But I just feel like if that's what it's going to take to clean up one county, just one, it'll be worth the while. That's what I feel, and I'm sure others feel the same way.
Miss Martin, help me understand Fridays and Saturday nights. You're talking about come through there. And I understand the trash will be there on the sides of the road Monday through Sunday, right?
Yes.
What I mean, are they riding four-wheelers down the road? I know I've got kids, they ride a four-wheeler through my darn yard. You know what I mean? Be 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I try to get up and catch them. Anyway, what's happening on those nights, the weekend nights?
Well, for one thing, the music is so loud till it can disturb me. I can't even go out on the back terrace and read a magazine because I can't hardly hear myself think. Another, for instance, is my girlfriend and I share the same birthday, and she, not girlfriend as in lovers, I meant friend girl. She came home from Tennessee. And we were going to sit outside in the swing, and I just made a cute little area in my yard, and we was going to enjoy just a glass of wine. We turned 60 at that time. And we sat down to enjoy the glass of wine, and this is no joke. The minute we popped the cork, those things come down flying. We were trying to talk. It was as if we was in silent, using silent language, because we couldn't hear a thing. They just shooting, and coming back, shooting.
Four-wheelers.
Yes.
Four-wheelers.
And we were like, they didn't just do it one or two times. I mean, they just kept doing it. And I can't believe that it could be that bad that we can't even sit and enjoy a company on my own property. That they have kids on their back, sometimes as young as look like 2 years old. I've seen some people run out and say, "Get that kid off that bike like that, that thing like that." You know, I've called the sheriff's office about it because it scares me that one of those kids are going to fall off. It's unsafe again. It's fenced in on my property, but we did have people coming in on the property, just walking through at night. I mean, just no regards for your stuff. It's not, I mean, there's shooting going on. People I don't know whether target practicing or should they be able to do that. I don't target practice with my gun, but it's a good bit of shooting. And since my parents has passed away, my sister turned my parents' home into a Airbnb. And we get people from out of town who come in and who enjoy the stay. It's really nice. But some have been frightened. They've said that. I feel unsafe. I feel unsafe. And these people don't even live in the state of Mississippi. So I know they're talking about it. And I'm hoping they are. If it's what it takes, it's going to do this. But it's just, that is one of the things.
Ms. Martin, I'm trying to kind of quantify, because again, you're right, it's not just in the Blackjack community, down Longview Road, and in my area. I'm just trying to think of a way. Is there a Blackjack, and I know I'm getting into Supervisor Williams' area, but is there some sort of a community group that we have, like a Blackjack?
A water association, that's the only group that I know.
Well, what I'm saying is like a group, in other words, that know the house that this four-wheeler's coming from, or, so I'm trying to find some answers, because it is difficult for us to enforce things on private property until they get off onto the county road. But if you know the source of where that's coming from, if you kind of had some neighborhood watch and a community watch, right? Because the communities inside the community, is what's going to protect from what's coming from the outside or what's harming it on the inside. So I'm just trying to think of a way to hit it in a multi-pronged attack. I'll ask the sheriff, as far as the sheriff's department, our Captain Watson over there, as far as noise ordinance, I think it's like a certain time of night was it after 10 o'clock, after midnight, after 1 a.m.? What is it that if somebody's got loud music on, that y'all can shut it down, or can you?
There's generally not an ordinance that I'm aware of that says they have to shut it down after a specific time, unless it's governed under our roadhouse ordinance, if it's a particular location or what have you. My suggestion would be, if there are enough community members interested in taking some positive steps, would be the formation of a neighborhood watch and the appointment of some watch captains, some formalized meetings to encourage the cooperation of the community with us when we do have to respond down there. That tends to be our biggest problem. There's a lack of cooperation when we have to respond to things. But I think if the community starts to show itself as interested, the good people down there, when you start shining the light on people who want to do bad, they generally scuttle away to other places. I feel like that would probably be probably would be what would happen in Blackjack as well.
That's exactly what's happening. And besides the ATVs, that is not, to me, the biggest problem. There's another problem with, and the only reason I don't know how crack smell. I know how pot smell, but people are doing drugs right on the front yard, right on the main Blackjack Road. They're all congregated right at driveways. It's as if they want people to see them. Like I said, and it's one young man is always have undressed, and they right there on the road, just straight down, and that happens all the time. Now, it may not be anything you do. You can't make people put clothes on, but I may at least be decent enough somebody to just say, don't have all the cars in your drive. There's so many in that driveway, at least 5, and the driveway is very short. And it's always, when I come out, You know, just a whole congregation. That's not on Fridays and Saturdays. It could be any day, any time in the week, in the afternoon, sometimes in the morning. A lot of these guys, I don't know whether they work or not, but there's always someone around there.
And so that's, again, at a multi-pronged attack, that's where what our captain was saying, a community group, a neighborhood watch. You know, and you may be the point person for it, you know, that different people in different areas. I know for a fact people call me all the time, hey, you know, and so, whatever the problem is, then I call the sheriff or the sheriff's office. You know what I'm saying? If you want to protect the community, it's going to have to start in the community. You know, once they get onto a public road, we can help, or if they, you know, if we need to enact a noise ordinance or what have you, I have no problem with that. I'm just trying to think of ways, you know, be creative on how we can stop that, because, you know, I grew up here too. I know folks, played baseball with folks up and down the blackjack community.
Mm-hmm.
I know folks from all over the county and in and out of the county.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear your concerns. It's just, you know, how do you attack it?
How?
What's the law on the smelling of pot? However, they still on their own private property, and you do smell it.
So the smell
What's
of,
the-
the smell
how do we
of
move on
marijuana
that?
falls under what's called the plain smell doctrine.
It ain't what you-
With the plain smell, we can make entry onto a property or into a residence and secure that residence pending the issuance of a search warrant with that smell. It's not something that we typically do because it's hard to pinpoint the exact spot it's coming from. And we have to be extremely careful in how we apply those laws. When you make a mistake in our business, that business usually ends up being governed by other case law that restricts what we can do even further. So we have to be very careful with that kind of thing. But if Ms. Martin is interested in the formation of a neighborhood watch to at least make a beginning, the Sheriff's Department will fully support that and make whatever resources we have available to you to do that.
Children's is on this on each one of the properties that I see, and there's two in particular. It's just right there on the road. I'm not sure what, I would think that the men in blackjack would be sitting where I'm sitting. I would think, and maybe they have, I don't know, the pastor at the church, like I said, it's a very popular church. I grew up going to that church, would be here. I sent an email. Now, I don't know whether they got it because it didn't say they had received it. But I reached out to people, and I'm sure that most of them want this place cleaned up. I'm sure they do. Coming forth is another story. I just do it because I guess I'm bold enough to. I'm not, I just feel like, you know, that's what your supervisor, your board is for, is to bring your complaints. And I'm one, I feel like I'm important. I feel I live there, and I know things are governed by sometimes a majority. But in this case, this is not a big community. It's just one that needs to be put into some perspectives. There needs to be some knowledge, and people may not know that they can't do this. This is not allowed. You know, they have it in the city. You can't just no shirt, no shoes, no service. If you're on the roadside and you're walking down and it's intimidating, I feel like it should be at least brought to your attention. You need to have some gloves on. And I do realize they're going into somebody else's business. But when I've got to pass by you and I got to look at you, it just seems like there should be something that's there that can say, at least respect your neighbor.
Cheryl, I mean, I sit here quietly and listen because I know when it's to the point that you come before the board and asking for help, it's probably gone beyond, but it's such an overwhelming problem that especially when you start talking about trying to regulate individuals on their own personal property, and government starts to step in, it's such a, like Captain Watson said, it's such a tedious undertaking. And you know, I know you personally. Your sister and my wife graduated from high school at Mississippi State University together, and I know how immaculately you all keep your property down there and your pride in your place. And it's frustrating that everybody around you doesn't feel the same way. You know, this is, you touched on so many different things that we all deal with. I mean, I've got four-wheeler riders, I call them ghost riders.
Yeah.
They get on there and they tear up the road, and when I get there, I can still see the dust, but I don't see them. It's just hard to catch them. But there's just so many. I've got a lady in my community that calls me constantly. As a matter of fact, she's got an amputated leg. She gets out and pick up trash because it's just it's just such an overwhelming problem. But at some point, we've got to start to address it some kind of way. And I don't know how or where, but we know we've got to start addressing it. We've stayed away from codes in the county and things of that nature because we kind of want people that live in the county to have some freedoms and not just be dictated to.
Right.
But at some point, we're going to have to start to address some.
Our word, Mr. William, he can tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Our word, hell.
And then, I come out when you call me. I not only talk to you on the phone, but I actually come to the site and talk to you.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
you have some good concerns, and Mr. Baggett, he comes out too and try to resolve the problems that you have. Is there a desirable number to call the sheriff department if there's a concern?
If there's an everyday concern, the main number is 662-323-2421. Of course, if there's an emergency, I would always suggest 911 or some violation of law. I would call 911 first. That would be the most direct response in terms of the fastest response. But those are two of the main numbers that we would call. And again, we'd be happy to assist with any of your concerns, especially with the neighborhood watch. I think that is something that could spread throughout this county and actually do some good in multiple areas, not just in Blackjack.
Ms. Martin, we can look at the speed sign in that area.
Please.
And make sure that they are still up. And
Maybe
that's
some
the
no
only way.
no ATVs on the road signs through the area, you know what I mean? Get the sign shop to make some things like that.
What about speed bumps? Can y'all get speed bumps? Since our road is paved, is there no way to put speed bumps out there?
Well,
Well,
I'll cover that. Speed bumps pose a liability on the county issue because Sunset has a long straightaway. And I think it's almost a quarter of a mile. It's gotta be, because I think I've seen people line up and they'll race. You go down past my dad's house, and I cross that bridge then as well. Can we put some speed bumps up? If you put speed bumps and it causes damage to a vehicle or a vehicle wrecks or what have you because of that speed bump, or if they say it was that speed bump, then we as a county are held liable. Put some rumble strips on there. In other words, when you come to a stop sign, those the strips like that. But it usually doesn't deter speed. It's somebody making a bad choice. It's hard to stop, a speeding Dodge Charger or Camaro or whatever going 100 miles an hour.
Even on the off the roads, not just the Blackjack road.
You're
but
talking
all
little
the
side roads. Again, it still poses a liability to the county, to my knowledge. Municipalities are a little bit different, like on Hiwassee over here by the hospital. But we crossed that bridge back all the way when Jack Brown was sitting in that chair right there. And if we did that, then it would open us up to countless, damage on vehicles, lawsuits, you name it. So as bad as we want to put them up, you see what I'm saying? That's just a bridge we can't
Seems like
cross.
there is no wind.
Ms. Martin, just as a suggestion, if y'all can form a community group. I think there are some community development block grants out there that your group may could apply for. And as a suggestion, since we're talking about a limited area, you might could use those grant funds to put up pole-mounted cameras, similar to what the city has throughout. That could then be piped back to 911 and their video wall for monitoring. That would help and assist us, and certainly would alert us when four-wheelers are racing and things like that. Give us a little more ability to respond a little more rapidly with a little more knowledge and maybe what we're getting. So that's a possibility too. I think that would require the formation of a community group to apply for that. But it's certainly not something that's out of the realm of possibility as well.
Well, I'm gonna see if I can get in touch with the pastor. He would have a lot more voice than me. But I mean, you know, I don't know. Four-wheelers, I don't wanna make it sound like they've been the worst. We have a community four-wheeler, if I'm not mistaken, little group of guys. They got these really nice four-wheelers. My nephew is one of them. But, and I've come out early one Saturday morning and was just so taken back with pride of what I saw. They had on their shirts and they had garbage bags picking up garbage. I don't know, did you know that?
I was with them. Matter of fact, we got one of our employees is a member of that group.
Okay, and that made me really happy. And I really thought we were on the road on something, but they never came down my road, but they were down the bigger roads, like Blair Road is what I saw in the main Blackjack Road. But, and so that in itself is a start. But now, I don't know whether even I know how to word what you just said to whoever I would talk to.
If you want to speak to the pastor,
yeah,
and then y'all come and sit down with us or me.
At the sheriff department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll be glad to help you any way we can.
Okay. I'll see if I can get in touch with him.
Making that group will make you an organization, like you said. You qualify for grants and different things like that.
Okay.
I mean, it puts a little more force behind your voice. Certainly does.
Sounds good. That's a little bit of hope. I feel a little bit more hope.
Well, it's like, you're not the only one in that community thinking that way, but somebody's waiting on somebody to make the first move. So, you know, sometimes when you make that first move, you start to get some support.
Right. That sounds good.
And as a governing body, my perspective is I think we have come to the point where we need to look at utilizing county resources to address some of these problems.
Please.
And that's really what it really boils down to. And not only in that community, but just throughout the county. We're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive and be a little bit more assertive and come up with ways to address some of these things. And it's going to require spending some public funds to make it happen.
A couple of weeks ago, I was in Alabama, and I was really impressed with, there were only 2 people now on the road picking up trash. And I don't know if it was but they had orange garbage bags, but there was one on each side. And you go down through there, and now they have a trash problem too. But I mean, the road was just lined where those 2 people had picked up trash, you know, and I'm sure they just had it in sections. So I'll reach out to that supervisor in that district and see what they're, you know, how they're doing that, because it wasn't like a bunch of people, it was grown men, and that was, you know, their job, and it was so many miles that they picked up. And then when I got further down, or when I came back through there, it's like 2 of them had met and they were waiting for somebody to come pick them up. But all along the road was just a ton of trash that they picked up. And I know I pick it up on my little stretch in front of my house, right there myself. But
there used to be a program, Adopt a Highway program. That used to be real. You had church organizations, you had college
these were paid people.
Yeah.
They had, you know, vests, but it didn't look. They didn't have a highway department vest on. You know,
well,
but
I'll tell you what else takes place. These guys that's contracted for clipping the highways, they've got people hired that go out and pick up the trash before they were clipping. Yeah, before they clip, they're contracted.
They did that on Highway 12, not this weekend, but last weekend.
Yeah.
They also
They'll-
weed eat around the
they'll go out.
signs, which is
Yeah.
impressive before they mow.
Yeah, they do.
I got a pastor, and he's either usually by himself, or he may have a couple people in Sunset. He started up, and he picks trash up. We let him have the, as far as the county, we'll let you have the little pick up things, if you come up with a group,
grab
and the bags.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll help you
Oh, wow.
in
That's
that
good.
in that
That's
way.
good to
and,
know.
I mean, sometimes he's by himself, but he picks up both entrances of Sunset and tries to go around the horseshoe. Does everything he can. So,
I'm afraid of snakes. That's the only thing. And I will pick up. Sometimes I can feel a little brave, and I'll get out there when I go to the mailbox, and I'll just get a bag and kind of pick up right up and down a little spot if it's not feeling like I'm going to see a snake.
He's gonna be hiding. This
You
time.
telling me? As soon as I get out there,
He'll
he
get out
is.
the way when this cold weather starts to come.
But-
Well, I do a lot of picking up on some roads that I live on. But actually, the problem is not the picking up. We have enough people picking up.
Yeah.
The problem is individuals throw it right back down.
Girl, you said it.
And
That
you
is
pick
said
it
it.
up.
And that's, how do you do
With
No
the
that?
camera,
Those lights,
we can-
those cameras, I
we can,
guess, would help.
We can get the county to come out, and Mr. Baggett is back in the back, and I talked to Mr. Baggett and Mr. Keller about coming out and let our group pick the papers up. But
It's right
time
there.
they pick it up, people come
I
right
see it. I
behind
see
them,
it.
That's true.
immediately behind them, and throw it back. I don't understand.
They do that right in front of
Now-
my house, I think. They
Now,
just do
I
it.
think that if we can put up some cameras and
Yeah, we
catch
should.
some of these people
Please.
and do something with them, I think we can eliminate individuals
Some of
that
that.
start to value more of having a clean community.
Yeah, Lord knows. Please.
I like the idea about Mr. Grant said something about putting up cameras, that'll solve a lot of problems.
That really grabbed my attention right there.
A traffic stop with somebody's thrown trash out. I'm trying to find out if there's a way to add something in there to help, 'cause, I mean, a lot of this is resources, and y'all shouldn't be in a situation
Exactly.
where this is constantly, you're pulling these people over, the money goes straight to the state. With this, I'll look into that a little deeper, because there's got to be some resource money to be able to attract and be able to, if the county's gonna do this, somehow or another, we need some resources to do it, so I'll check into
Yeah.
that for you.
Thank you.
We have checked
You
off,
gotta start.
we have, I know I have, and other supervisors have checked off everything that you brought forward. And, we'll move forward, I'm sure, and try our best to address each one of them. The roads are being paved. Now, we have
You know
paved,
I'm on you all the
we have
time.
paved a considerable amount of roads in
Yeah.
Blackjack. A considerable amount of roads in Blackjack we have paved. And we do have some that's on the 4-year road plan now to be paved. The Otis Road is up for pavement. It's being set up and everything, so we have some that's, that are up.
Can
for
y'all get down our
improvement.
road though and kind of get it, cause it's patched together and the patches have come undone, so the potholes are starting to set back up and then it's starting to peel off of the other side. Would you look into Outlaw Road on that?
Mr. Baggett, he's back in the back, Mr. Baggett will look into Outlaw Road
And the ditches
see what we can
still
do
not clean.
to work on some of the potholes and make that road ride smoother than what it's presently is riding.
And that, like I said, those signs are the ones the vines have grown up over on that road. I don't try to make trouble, but because I'm retired and don't work anymore, I get a chance to see a lot more, and I just kind of want the community to get back to what I can remember back in the days. I'm glad you said about ball games back in the day.
Play baseball.
All of my friends,
somewhere
we
off
walk
the
that
road,
road
watch it.
sometimes coming from choir rehearsal at 9 and 10 o'clock at night. Of course, I know these are different days, but no more walking like that. Definitely, you too afraid to walk to the mailbox at that time at night now. But
I'm glad our road manager's also here today. And Ms. Martin is talking about cutting some of the limbs off the side of Outlaw Road.
Yes, that's another thing.
And that stop sign and the speed signs.
It's because it's a speed, and it says no littering, if I'm not mistaken, but you can't see it because the vines, and it may not be where the road guys saw. They supposed to know where it is, but like I said, I have a lot of time. I'm looking, and I thought, what? How did it grow up like that? It looks like it's coming off of somebody's property, the vines, and that's the other thing. Nobody mows their yard like they should, and so the whole thing is just covering the sign. Broken branches is. Anyways, it's been productive. I really appreciate y'all listening to me. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Tony.
Concern. I hope y'all are going to help us out down there, and I will try to talk to the pastor. Mr. William, contact me to let me know what I need to do if it's something I need to do.
We'll stay in touch with you.
I will.
Okay, I'm sure you'll stay in touch with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Ms. Moore.
All right, thank y'all
Have a
for
nice day.
listening. I appreciate that.
Okay, moving forward. We don't need to acknowledge that she covered a lot. I don't know what. I don't need to acknowledge her report. Mrs. Zach Foster, with North Star Industrial Park.
So you've got two things for approval today. You've got the first and the second payout for the North Star Industrial Park building tax project. If y'all remember, there was some bond money set up for the industrial park, and there was some leftover funds, and so OCEDA is taking those leftover funds now, and they're building a building pad for Agricel. Agricel's gonna come in and put a spec building on that pad right across the street from Gary. So these are those first two payment requests for J.E. Sturgeon Construction.
And a payment request for request number 1 and payment request number 2.
Motion for approval on both.
Motion for approval on both, Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. And then any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Moving forward, we have, Jarvis Board. Jarvis Board with, Homeland Security grant.
Good morning, board.
Good morning.
And Ms. Christian's,
He's in place of, Ms. Campanella.
yeah, Ms.
No,
Christian's
no, I know, I'm
absence.
talking about the one before.
Zach, yeah,
That's not.
It was in my packet,
Zach
but he
Foster.
wasn't on.
Well, I know, it just wasn't on the agenda.
No, he wasn't coming. He emailed me this morning at 7:50 that he would be here. I was gonna present it, but he decided he could make it, so I asked him to explain.
Okay.
It's in your package.
Good
All
morning.
right, good morning. In Ms. Kristen's, Campanella's absence, I am, bringing the Homeland Security grant to be signed, so that we can move forward since it is time sensitive. So she just want me to come and bring it and present it to the board. The grant is an amount of $10,000, for radios, and it is fully reimbursable.
Deal.
Motion for approval by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery, on Homeland Security grant. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Boyd.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jar.
Is that to accept the grant? I'm sorry.
Yes.
To accept the
Yes.
grant.
We have Captain Watson. Captain Watson with radio grant.
Yes, sir. Much the same as Mr. Boyd. The Sheriff's Department received notice several weeks ago of an opportunity to apply for reallocated 2020 Homeland Security funds. I made that application in the interest of getting Sheriff's Department some additional radios, and they granted us $15,000 to do that. I have some things that I have to complete. They're requiring us to do the 2021 cybersecurity review before we can actually get the board's signature, but we are on a timetable, so I'm come to request that the board authorize Supervisor Williams to sign acceptance of the grant upon my completion of those requirements. It is in the amount of $15,000.
Motion for approval by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Approval pending the completion of other paperwork.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Watts.
Yes, sir.
Moving forward, we had a road manager report, Mr. Bagley.
Good morning, board.
Good morning. Good morning.
I hope all is well as your families. I have some things I need to cover. First two are issues involving purchasing.
Yes.
On one of our six-wheelers, it was under warranty. We sent it to the place to get it fixed. We got an initial requisition to do that, just so we would be covered. The truck came back, it was doing the same thing. The aspects of the truck, the fundamental aspects, and I was under the impression that everyone knew how to work it properly, but that was not the case. So we ended up with a bill without a PO.
Before we go any further, are they educated now on how to operate?
They are.
Okay.
They are. And we did go through the effort of showing them the dealer was down. He spent that morning with all the men that were going to operate these transports, and everyone stated they were ready, but apparently that wasn't the case. They were a little different from the trucks we had, and so it was an operator error.
Question, what'd they do? Did they leave the brakes stuck on, or did they
It had
not hook it up? 'Cause it's like it's seized up here, but
I don't know exactly. It has something to do with the sequence that you have to go through when you're starting or when you're stopping. And if you didn't do it a certain way, then the transmission would disengage, and you had to start the sequence again. And so I don't know exactly what the problem was with the truck.
That's the problem.
Well, it was apparently, I don't know what the problem was with operating the truck.
I make a motion, we pay the bill.
Motion by Supervisor
Second.
Trainer.
Has an employee been documented? Has it been documented in the employee's file?
No, I didn't document it.
I think it would be wise to
I
do
think so too.
I'll document it.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there additional questions?
Can we
I'm
amend
sure
it?
you have, let them know too that you do need a purchase order. And it
Yeah.
looked like a purchase order was, issued.
Yeah, well, the purchase order was issued when the truck was initially took down there, but when they came back to get it, it wasn't.
It wasn't, okay.
Because really, I didn't anticipate any cost, because it was just going back and it was continuing on the warranty.
Right.
But when they called it, they did call and state, they didn't state that there was gonna be a cost, but they did say that there was operator error, inability to operate the truck.
Well, I think the motion needs to state that. So if there's any questions, attorney, that there was an original PO and the truck came back and then was sent back again, it was under warranty. And that's the reason there wasn't a PO for the second trip. And if that's changed that way, I'll second it.
And so you were in agreement that it was operator error.
Yeah, because
I don't see the
hadn't-
necessity
we hadn't had any
behind that.
further
I mean, just the
issues
bill,
with
just
that
pay the
aspect-
bill. I mean,
with
it's not
that
a,
aspect of the truck.
it's not anything that's major. I mean, you know it's got to be paid.
Well, except audit will come in and say, y'all are paying something without a purchase order. That's the reason I think there needs to be, in the board order, there needs to be a reason why,
It'll explain
documentation.
our justification for paying it.
That was
And-
all I was saying. I'm not saying not pay it.
Yeah, would y'all be okay with amending, and I'm just asking, to include not only that, but also to document this in that employee's file? You okay with that?
I might kind of have a slight, I don't think it was negligence. I don't think they just
No, I didn't.
negligence, it just didn't know how to operate it. I mean, therefore,
Yeah, just
I don't
cut it
see,
out.
I don't see, you know, I don't see writing a person up for, I mean,
I'm
they were
not-
trying to do their job, then they
Yeah.
were not negligent in doing it, they just didn't
Just
quite
didn't-
have the proper training, I would say.
Well, I'm not talking
This is a
about
new
writing them
truck,
up,
right?
I'm just saying
It's a
document.
new truck.
It's one of the newest
New
six-wheelers.
truck.
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Just
don't,
getting used to it.
yeah, I just think we need to,
I got some things I'm still trying to get used to on my vehicle.
you know, if it had been negligent, then they just, I would say yeah, but I don't, in this case, I don't think it was negligence on this.
Well, no, I wasn't saying write them up, I was just saying just document that, but if you don't see fit, then.
I mean, I'm just
No,
one now, but I
Yeah,
just,
I think,
turn it on.
if this pleases the board, to put an explanation in our minutes that are the reasoning behind doing this without a purchase order. In the future, whether it's warranty or not warranty, we need to have a purchase order on everything that goes out, just so that we're covered.
Yeah.
That would be the easiest thing to do in this.
Supervisor Trainer, please the board.
I don't have a problem, just pay the bill.
Okay. Don't have a problem. It does please the board.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I was.
Are there additional
Oh,
questions?
sorry.
Well, here's something.
I did, with the changes.
The motion was Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Miller. No additional question, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0 with those amendments.
I'll make a real short statement about write-ups. I think most people, including myself, live in fear of losing their job. And so when anything is placed on paper, I try to make sure, as of late, that it's really a major issue, because I don't want the people worrying about that someone's after their job. And so I try to avoid write-ups now. I more or less write letters of, for information for the employees, so they feel more comfortable. Because nobody really, well, exception of they maybe one or two, do anything really to harm the county or to be negligent. Okay.
But on the flip side of that, if it's not documented in an employee's folder, whether you have a verbal conversation with them or not, then when they are fired, they can sue the county. And that's the reason documentation of employee actions are so important. You should always put, even if you have a conversation with them about something, because it protects the county from lawsuits.
Okay, so I can have a conversation with them and then just document that I had a conversation regarding that issue.
not a write-up, just.
You have to,
Yeah, okay, I can do that.
you have to tell them though that it's documented.
Okay. All right. There's another issue regarding purchasing with Thompson equipment out of the Caterpillar place. During the bidding of the last, we were gonna purchase equipment. We had rented a dozer from them. The time expired. I called the sales rep and told him that he could come get the equipment. And I guess he was so certain that we was gonna do it again, I did not imply that, I just told him that he needs to come get it. He was so sure that we were gonna rent it again, or purchase equipment or whatever, that they left it. They said, well, we'll come get it in a week. And anyway, they didn't come get it then, and I think purchasing talked to them and told them that we didn't have another contract after the board meeting, and they still didn't come get it. And so sometime later, we received this bill from Thompson. And that's where this originated from. I didn't tell them that we were gonna do anything. I didn't have that authority to do that. I simply called them and told them that the time was up. And purchasing told them we didn't have a contract after the board meeting, but they still left it there. And we were
Attorney,
right.
can you call and investigate this a little bit? You know, timing was right after all of it was supposed to be reverse auctioned, and then we got a paper bid submitted. There's a lot of questions about all that, so.
I'm gonna have to get more information just so I understand what's going on, but yes, ma'am, I can do that.
It seems that Thompson has agreed to make that adjustment here.
They made an adjustment for a week.
Is that satisfactory?
It's satisfactory with me, because not only that, but they,
So it was billed for 4,000 plus.
41, right.
And then they agreed on making the adjustment for right at 2,000,
2,800.
2,800.
Yes.
Is that the proper adjustment? I mean, I'm asking you.
Well,
Are they,
Well,
are
if it's
they
not
still
based on the
trying to make
timeline
us
that he
pay?
called to say, and it's the timeline that they
Right.
called, you know, I think that's one of the attorneys should look into it, because if he called and said, hey, come pick up equipment, and then he'd come get it for 14 more days,
Right.
you know, and then they charge the taxpayers another $2,800.
And
I think
that's why I'm
I think
asking.
the attorney should look into that.
You got a motion on that?
Yeah.
There's a motion on that.
I make a motion, we pay the bill. That's my motion. And I make a motion, we pay the bill. Because now, we get into a lot of penny ante stuff here that's gonna impact what we doing.
Yeah,
Now,
that's-
if that dozer was using, I think it was in District 2, you can use that out of my capitalization report and just go ahead and pay them $2,000 out of District 2 funds and be done with it. 'Cause I think the dozer was being used on my side, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It was.
So that would be my suggestion, just go ahead and pay it out of District 2,
The
the 28, whatever it is, and go ahead and pay it.
2809.
I do understand that, but the county cannot pay for services not rendered. I mean, that's
Well,
sort of
the
legal.
dozer was in our possession.
Okay,
You know, we didn't use it because of the weather. We had it rented.
okay. I mean, if it's justifiable, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I just don't want us to pay for something, you know, get us in trouble.
We had a motion. Did you have a motion first?
Yeah, but he made a motion, so mine didn't pass, didn't go with lack of second, so when he came in and said he wanted to pay the bill, so, hey, we both made motions.
Okay, pay the bill, a motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by, that's a pay the bill after.
Right, which bill are we
after,
paying?
After Attorney Robinson look into the issue.
He don't even have to look into it, whatever the 28, whatever, just go ahead and pay the bill. Because we gonna still owe the bill when y'all get through shucking and jiving. We gonna still owe them folks that money.
So pay the one that's presented.
I'll second that.
And they're not gonna, they're gonna close our account.
And they're gonna you gonna jeopardize everything we doing, the bigger picture, I get it.
Let's move forward, pay the bill.
I'll second that.
Motion by paying out of his, 4-year
Yeah,
road
man,
plan,
good,
so it's fine. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery, they move forward and pay the, bills that as presented. Are there additional questions?
Attorney, are we okay?
I'm a no.
I have a question. What was the difference?
I got, let
Was it
me
about a
get
week?
that to you.
12, I think $1,300.
$1,300.
I believe so, the difference in what they initially charged and what a little less than 1,300.
All right, y'all go ahead and do this thing, but I'm gonna go back behind us and check just to make sure that we're covered.
Rob, the
That's
bill
what I'll
is
do.
2809.94. 2809.94. It's on the front.
To the email.
Where they say.
All right, tell you what, I'll track back and just look at it real quick just to cover us, but we'll go ahead and check in. and-
Have they told you they're threatening us to close our
No,
account?
they shut the account down. We
Really?
couldn't do anything for like 2.5 days. We had to call and beg and plead, despite the fact that we do considerable work with them. They probably got $30,000-$40,000 worth of our stuff over there now on the service.
Well, you know, they still a little warm with us about this grader. situation. They still warn with us about that.
Oh, yeah, it's been issues with it.
I know, so.
Well, that's because they didn't want to participate in the reverse auction.
Well,
And they didn't even have the lowest bid.
I don't disagree with it, but there are other implications that come behind when you make certain decisions.
And we don't have, I guess there are always options if you have enough money, but, I mean, they've got all of our stuff, they right there.
Okay.
Kind of under the lines, Paul.
Figure out what this first one was. You and I will get together and call them and see if we can get some of this straightened out.
Okay. All right.
We haven't carried the motion yet. The motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery, to move forward and pay the bill, that we have before us. Are there additional questions? No additional questions?
You'll come back, attorney, and let us know if we, okay. I vote in
It
favor.
sounds to me like there's we just need to get with them and get some stuff straightened out.
Pay the bill in relation to Thompson Machinery. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor?
Yeah.
Motion carries 4-1.
Okay. Is it appropriate that I talk about new hires here? Is that the administrator?
Administrator.
The only thing I was gonna ask is,
You can talk
what's
about
the
it, but
difference
she's gonna
in,
take care of it.
why did you put one person in at $4 more than the other person? Today?
Okay, the one that's at the $17, he's gonna be coming into the office.
He's gonna what?
Be coming into the office. He's gonna be an office worker. And so, and he has the degree, and he's gonna be using,
Attorney, we talk about personnel issues?
Excel, and it's
This is
a-
just general.
It is general, I mean, nothing specific.
It's just.
Was that advertised internally in case anybody that works out at the county wanted to do that?
It wasn't, but,
All right, we're fixing to get deeper into this. I would prefer.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm just asking the
I
general
don't
question.
think it's not a
Well,
bad
I
question.
guess my question is you've already presented in payroll changes, so, I mean, was there any other particular reason not to just let us vote on it?
not really, I just wanted to ask any questions anyone might have. Because I hadn't spoke with anyone about it.
Okay, it's in the payroll changes when we normally,
Well, I wasn't trying to trumpet anything, I just hadn't spoke with anyone about it. I thought there might be a question,
oh, okay.
and that's the only reason I mentioned it right now.
Okay.
And if they don't work out inside the office, it says in the notes that you'll put them back in the field
Yeah, he'd be put in the field.
for that, or in a different room.
But he has a degree from Ole Miss and some other things. I think he'll work out fine in the office.
We've read over the payroll changes.
Okay. Okay, equipment breakdowns and then back orders. I know a couple of, you probably heard from the foreman that they don't have this piece of equipment, or this piece of equipment is broke down. They're in the shop, and they've been in the shop a while. And, the suppliers apparently don't have the parts to fix them. And so that's where we are on that. We can't do anything about that in the road department. I've been asking each barn to share what they have, and they've been cooperating. And so we're getting as much done as we can with what we have until we get the equipment back out of the shop. The new tractors that we're getting, the side cutters, I get the same answer every time, and frankly, the man doesn't know when they're coming. And that's just where we are with that as well.
And this is what now?
You know, the side cutters, those tractors.
He tells you 2 weeks every time.
He takes 2 weeks every time, yeah.
Speaking of some of the new equipment, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask, some areas that we've clipped, on the corner right there of South Montgomery and Poorhouse Road, where that business is, that new Cable 4300. It's like we clipped just a little bitty strip, but he was asking, did we not have something with a side arm where we could clip that bank?
Tap, you're in.
Huh?
You're leading right now.
Oh, okay.
He needs a
Okay.
break.
I'm sorry. Is there, do we have something we can clip that bank that's still in the right of way?
We can.
Do we have any of those in stock?
We don't have any in, but we have some old ones, a couple of old ones that are working that we, sending around to different areas.
Okay. Will you put that just in your notes?
I will.
Friday, he specifically asked, he's fixing to do some more development out there, but he was,
That's South Montgomery
and Poorhouse Road.
okay.
It's like they clipped a little small strip, but the embankment part, that goes up like this, we didn't get any of it. He said if it's legal to do that, he would.
Okay, we can do that. I know what you're talking about.
Question. I'm sorry, are you done? I didn't-
No, go ahead, yeah.
If we can, even with the old side cutters, and I'm not talking about my area or anyone's area in particular, I'm just saying as a county as a whole, through the winter time, while it's wet, rainy, etc., can we have, or do you have the manpower to get either one or two people to just make a pattern with overgrown limbs, those places where the bush hog just couldn't get, you know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
Just kind of like flossing your teeth, you know what I mean? Just to really, I guess, I hate to say it, when you can't do other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good opportunity to go around the county and get it ready for the spring. You know what I mean? Is there a way that we could do that?
Yes,
Do you have the men that could do that?
we do.
And don't we have 2 side cutters right now that are working? I know the old ones.
Yes, we have two.
And, cause I know, I see it in other districts as well as mine that need just to push that brush back, you know what I mean? Just to push some of the new growth back. I guess through the winter, I would ask through the whole winter. And then, I guess to what Miss Martin was saying, this would be the sign shop. No particular district, just countywide, get them to look at missing road signs. I mean, I was in, that would be Supervisor Trainer's area a couple weeks ago, and there was a couple of signs, and I had it to call him, and I just didn't. And I can't remember where it was, but just, road signs, stop signs, speed limit signs, things that are down, discolored, overgrown, just to push that stuff back. Appearance means a lot, so I'm done after that. But I was just saying, through the winter, if we could do that, I think it'd help us a lot.
Mr. Baggin, on some of our new equipment, especially our clippers, I was shown some stress fractures that's having to be welded already. Is that coming from bad design or what do you think?
We took it back to the supplier, and they thought it might have been backed into the bank kind of hard, and kind of caused that. That's what they
I don't know if I agree with that. When you're out clipping, you're gonna back into stuff or back. But if your piece of equipment can't handle being backed into, not even a concrete bank, but backed into a dirt bank, and it cracks it and it has to be welded, I think it's probably a design flaw to me. That's what I think.
Or a weak weld.
A weak welding, yeah.
Seemed like they could weld that back and then kind of like Paul Yateman or Tim Rice, put you a plate, a little metal plate on it, but you need to check with them, make sure it doesn't void warranties, etc. But that shouldn't be happening, especially on the kind
those
we
things
got.
are almost brand new.
They are pretty much brand new, and heavy duty at that. So those John Deeres, weren't they?
No, can't think of the name of them right now. They aren't John Deere, but they are commercial grade.
Like the Tiger?
Yeah, the yellow ones.
They aren't Tiger.
The Tiger ones, yeah. I just, the reason I brought it up is, I just want us to be watching this new brand of equipment that we're getting, so we don't get so much of it purchased before we know that what we are purchasing is holding up.
Right.
The new stuff don't compare it with the old stuff. Them old bush hog, man. So.
You could run over a tank.
Well, you know, and we're here to try to be efficient with county taxpayers' money, but sometimes, you know, the cheapest is not always the best, especially when you start talking about long-term and getting more use out of it. That's my reasoning for sort of keeping an eye on this new equipment we're getting to make sure that we'll, you know.
Yeah.
After we accept the road manager's report, can I show y'all these plats and stuff while he's here of what this gentleman is claiming on that in Heritage Colony? This is a 1974 report. Would that be okay?
John, anytime you riding through, you see something need to be done, don't even call me, just go to the road department.
Okay.
I mean, just let them know.
And
Cut the middleman out, cause you
I
may
know
call me
I
and make
go
you get
through
about
it,
it,
but I'm trying to, I was there and I mean,
any little thing you
I
see
got a
need to be
phone
done.
call, I was typing your number and my other phone rang and but I'll do that.
Would you repeat that? Apparently I missed something.
Well, he said, you know, a lot of times we're riding and we see things in other people's districts. And, you know, we said, well, I'm gonna call the supervisor, but if it's something that like a road sign or something like maintenance, hey, just turn in a work order to the road manager. And that way, you know, because what happens is we all loaded with so much stuff anyway. And that'll cut out a layer of communication with just having to say, well, I gotta go through the supervisor.
Okay.
Cause it may be something that, I mean, that road sign could have been a life or death for somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Warren Road, need permission to go off of the right of way on that road. We've done that before, and I'm pretty certain that's what Mr. Locke wanted. I thought he was gonna be here, but he wasn't. And, we'll probably be going 300 feet off of the end of the right of way, off into the woods to open that outlet.
Make a motion, we authorize that.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we authorize, Mr. Lott's request. Motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Howard, that we authorize Mr. Lott's request. Are there additional questions?
What all will this?
Yeah, and
What all will this?
and I'm just gonna say this, in the past, like, even when we had a drainage issue, and this was back when Attorney Brown was here, but anytime we had a drainage issue, we had to send that off and explain that, and we got an opinion from AG or whoever, could we do that, and that protected us. We just didn't go on people's property, because where do you draw the line? I mean, and is this truly affecting a road? And if it is, I mean, how?
Well, you know,
It
we
is.
talked about
It's
this,
affecting
and
the road.
we told our road manager, when he brings something to us like this, he has already made the determination that this needs to be done because it is affecting our road, so I'm assuming that that's where we're at.
Where is Warren Road?
Warren Road is off of Lindsay Lane. Lindsay Lane is off of 16th Section Road. 16th Section Road is off of 102.
I know where 16th section is.
What all is this gonna take? I mean, I'm just
We're gonna
asking.
go, the road is, Warren Road stops and turns into a 911 road. And on up that 911 road, there are drainage issues that come back down into the main Warren Road. And we're gonna go beyond those trailers, back into the woods a piece, to try to get that water to run back that way. It's a straight shot. You can see it if you get there.
So you're gonna be
you'll see
working
it.
off a 911 road?
No, actually, it's not a 911 road. Warren Road actually is a county road. Warren Road is not a 911 road, it's a county road. It's on the county map.
Yeah,
County
it is.
maintained.
Not, Warren Road is a county road.
So the drainage is affecting you.
Right,
Yeah.
and it stops shy of where,
Mr. Lott's property is, and it
That's
needs to
right.
go beyond that. And it's about 1, 2, 3, I think about 5 or 6 homes right in there. It's
And
gonna
you just
impact.
take it away instead of coming back
Right.
this way.
Yeah,
With
we're
an
not-
excavator, what you gonna need?
a mini excavator.
Attorney Roberts.
Can we make certain that whenever before you go out there to go take pictures and make sure that you've got proof that it's affecting, so that, just for your records, keep it in your record and stuff, I don't necessarily need it. I just wanna make certain that you've made that determination, is what I'm trying to make certain.
Okay.
So what's the road, I'm looking at the map, Warren Road dead ends, it's off of Lindsay, but then there's something else that circles around, what is that?
That's Chase Lane.
That's
Is that a
That's
911
Yeah,
road?
no, all this county. You got
That's
Warren,
another dead
Lindsay,
end road.
Chase, and you got Constable Place, you got WMS Lane is on there.
Yeah, all those are right there together.
Has the property owner already given permission for this? I'm making sure I'm keeping up with what we're talking about here.
Yeah, they requested it, and, but now we haven't
We can get
done anything.
documentation signed before we
I
actually
just
enter
wanna
into
make
the
certain
process.
we have all of our documentation.
Right.
How long do you think it'll take? Just guessing.
A half a day.
And also what is going on in there, they're putting down the sewer lines down there too, and that didn't make the situation any better. And we're doing a construction project on that whole circle, so we've been in there digging out ditches and replacing pipes and everything, so.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. In additional question pertaining to Mr. Baggett's request for Warren Road, which is a county road. No additional questions, all in favor?
Yeah.
All and opposed? Motion carries 4-1.
I hate to keep asking you, Mr. Baggett, but on Longview Road, every time it rains, people are asking about it, and
Yeah, it's getting its own social media page,
I mean, we're,
like Blackjack had.
yeah, I mean, we're, I guess at a crossroads, even with our contractor. I hate to ask you, but could you go back down Longview Road and try to, grade that road out? We got some people in some desperate situations down
And
there.
is he supposed to be doing that, or is Philip supposed to be doing that?
Phillips.
That was my question. Who, and
Well,
listen, we
well,
gotta
why
get
don't we
people
take,
in and
why
out.
don't we take the legal steps to make sure they keep it maintained?
Why don't we just maintain the road, gravel it, and put grade it? It's a county road,
I'm
the
asking
folks
you
are
to grade it.
suffering, why are we gonna be?
I'm not trying to not, I'm
I
not
know you're
trying,
not,
I'm
but
asking though,
let's just grade the road and put the gravel on the road.
I had to
And
pull
so
a
folks
lady
can
out
get
in a
in
little
and get out.
Nissan something. I couldn't
I'm
even get a
saying
place
get
to
them in
pull
and
her
out, but at
She
least
was stuck.
document so we can get reimbursed. At least
We
try
not
to
gonna
make
get
Philip.
reimbursed on that,
There
that's a
was a
county
lady
road.
stuck in Longview Road.
Yeah, but it's under contract.
This
But
week.
still, I mean, you know, it's just, but the people, they don't understand that. Let's just
I
get the
do,
folks in
I
and
understand,
get 'em
I
out.
know that,
That's what I mean.
and get them in and out, but at
Blade
least
it, put gravel on.
have some documentation of what it's costing the county, so Philip can.
Attorney Robinson.
I think that we have the first part of this is to make sure that our people are taken care of, so I'm okay with that side of it, but I'm gonna contact Phillips. We've actually got 2 issues that are going on out there, not just that particular one. With permission of this board, I'd like to address this issue as well as to how we're gonna move forward. Because this is a contracted road, they're basically going to say, if we go out there and do anything, that we're breaching our contract, which is my fear. That being said, y'all are right, the people that are out there on that road don't understand any of this. With your permission, there just needs to be a strong conversation about this. I've already been given the notice that they feel like the contract has already been breached a little bit from the conversation that we've had. That being said, that is irrelevant to the conversation that you're having right now as to whether or not how we take care of the people who are out there. But this is going to probably get worse before it gets better. And I don't mean that in a sense.
So do
that
we
we
just
don't-
need to,
I'm not suggesting that we don't need to do anything on this, because you've got a proverbial ox in the ditch here that needs to be dealt with. And I don't know of another option here
I don't-
to move forward and give some relief to those people.
Well, y'all wanna break the contract with Phillips?
No.
Let's just break the contract with Phillips and get a contract with somebody else.
Well, there's one or
You're
two
not saying
things
that.
going on, either Phillips
We still-
is not doing what they're supposed to do, or they're not being held accountable for what they're supposed to
Phillips,
do.
how much has Phillips been out there the last 3 weeks?
I don't think Phillips has been out there, but maybe once in 3 weeks, and it wasn't to do a whole lot. So I do believe that and Mr. Pritchard would probably be the appropriate person to ask a lot of this, but whenever I spoke with Mr. Pritchard, he's had a really hard time getting them motivated.
And he has. I'll give the man credit, because it was time to clear the air. I just saw him at his office, didn't even go inside. but about an hour-long conversation.
Applied's tried very much trying to get this back on track, and it's been very difficult.
Yeah.
And some of this has been out of his control, some of this, in fairness to the contractors, been out of their control a little bit. I'll contact them today, to try to address some of this stuff. But it may be best if you and I have a meeting with them.
Okay, I'll do it. Be glad to be there. But I mean, so, and I'm asking your legal opinion on this. Because like I said, I mean, it was a good thing I was coming back from Bradley down, and I said, I'm gonna come down. Girl can't even get out of her car, right? Stuck in the, stuck kind of on the side of the road. She went the wrong way, okay? But she didn't know. But, do you think we need to do the work on Longview Road, grading, et cetera?
The legal answer to that is, there is a contract out on this road, they are responsible for it. There is a reality on the ground that your people or our people are not gonna understand that.
Well, then let me ask you this, and this comes from where the road is at now as far as completion is considered. I think we're around 25% done. Have they not breached a contract since they've not maintained it?
I think there's an argument on both sides that there was some.
So I'm saying,
Absolutely.
whatever work they have done now, if they breached a contract, would we have to pay what they've already done if they breached that contract?
This is we need to go in executive.
Okay.
We probably need to go in executive.
Let's do that at the end then.
Yeah.
Let's get
Let's
Mr. Baggett
discuss
back. I
this.
know he's got plenty of fires
Right.
burning.
I don't wanna say anything that's gonna be used against us.
Sure.
We hold on that motion. I don't
Yes,
think we
sir.
have
Yes, sir.
motion second. Okay.
We'll table that. How about that? If that's okay, till later.
I think Ms. Miller wants to talk about King Arms Road.
I would, do y'all wanna go ahead and accept the road manager's report before we?
I'll make
Before
motion.
you do, there's a
Acknowledge.
covet that, needs to be installed at 2289 Criglow Road, 2289 Criglow Road. Reason being is that there's a gentleman who's trying to get to the back of his property, so he just piled a bunch of dirt in the ditch, and it's flooded our road. As a result of that, it's flooding our road. But, we still want him to get to the back of his property, but he does need a covenant instead of just piling it up in the ditch.
So move.
Second.
Luke.
Crippler.
Crippler,
I'm sorry.
Crigler, Crippler. Motion by Supervisor Traynor, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we approve that covet. And in questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And not to cut you off, Supervisor Miller, culvert there on New Light Road that Mr. Don Rhodes is asking for, do we need a board order on that?
Oh, we can put that in already.
Okay.
We
But
got
I know,
it.
but it's a second.
No, we did that already.
The second one.
Oh, the second one, no, we hadn't done the second one.
You see what I'm saying? He sold this part, but he needs to get to
Oh,
his
okay.
part.
Okay.
So I need to make a motion and don't know, it's not an address right now. He needs access to this property. Mr. Don Rhodes, it's a culvert on New Light Road. I make a motion to install that.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Traynor, that we install that covet. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
The culvert in here on South Montgomery, was that the extended culvert that gentleman wanted that had the horse trailer? Did you charge him for it? I saw it was 5,800 South Montgomery, you put a culvert in. Remember, we talked about that.
No, I didn't do a work order for it. There might have been one.
It's listed in here.
It's a wrong address then, but we haven't done that yet. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, cause we're supposed to charge for extended culverts.
Right, no, we
But
didn't.
it's,
When did we start charging for extended cover?
we always have.
You mean
we
like
have-
to
and-
put another culvert in or?
Like a super long one. I believe
How
there's a board
long?
order on that. I don't know. I mean, I've always,
We've never charged for extended cover.
We'll put a 30-footer in.
We charge
You-
for a
you-
second covet.
Yeah,
When
second
the person
culvert,
get
they
another
pay for.
covet, they had to pay for the second covet.
Yeah.
But not the extended cover.
I mean, if we've got a little 4 or 5 foot piece or something, like I had a dude had an 18 wheeler.
Yeah, that's an extension. But now-
5746.
We didn't
I'll
charge him
check on
anything
that,
for
'cause I
that.
didn't-
but
I don't know,
He's gonna destroy the road.
There must
if
be
we
a
do.
wrong.
Oh, yeah.
We might have did that wrong in the book. 5736, because we haven't done
It
that.
says, It says on here, I was
But I
just
didn't want us
asking,
to
was
be
that the
telling
one we
people
talked about?
Charging for covered extension.
And the reason I say that is because this came up when Miss Emily was here. And she said, Brickley, we always have charged for extended culverts. If you've gotta have like two, she had to have them at her house. I know at our barn in Octok, we had to have them years ago.
What it is if they wanted a second culvert,
They
some
would
people
purchase
wanted
it.
a horseshoe drive. So we would say, if you purchase that culvert,
We'll
we
install
would
it.
come in and install it, but we would
I don't know,
not give.
we've had this conversation more than one time with Mr. Baggett. He was on the same page about that gentleman, right?
Yeah,
This
we-
wasn't the first time, and we were all on the same page when Miss Emily is here, so I don't know.
Well, is it another culvert, he just saying extension, or is this just?
He's saying that the normal size that we put in for every citizen
Right, the length,
won't work for him because he has a horse trailer.
right.
And he
And
needs
he
more
wants us
room.
to go in and put one twice as long for him. And Miss Emily said in a case like that, we charge them for that.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't
almost
sell
another
culverts.
culvert.
The county does not sell.
Why can't he just purchase the cover and they'll just put it in?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we're to
Just
do.
match the diameter.
Yeah, that's what we've been
That's the
doing.
way it should be done.
That's how it is.
He should purchase the cut.
Yeah.
And we put it in.
If he want, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just asked.
I'll
'cause it
check
was
on
just-
that, because I don't, I'll check on that.
I mean, it's not a business, it's just his driveway. He says with his horse trailer, he can't get in. He needs a bigger something, yeah. All right. I'll make the motion to acknowledge the road manager's report.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Miller, second by Supervisor Trainer, that we acknowledge the road manager report. Are there additional questions? No additional questions, all in favor?
Right.
Motion carries 5-0.
Attorney, can you come this way so you can look at all this too? Okay, so apparently in 1974,
Oh, man.
there is a right-of-way agreement, and this is in Heritage Colony, and this is that, I don't know, accepted, I don't know if actually he's saying that we accepted the road because there was a right-of-way agreement, okay? So he's looking at that. If you look at the plats, and you look at, he's saying that the road in 1974 was supposed to go to the end of this plat right here, okay? But the road only shows that it goes currently, after we even corrected it to right here, it doesn't go to the end of the plat. And he said there's no reason they would have, back in that date, that they would have, right, that they would have ended the road right there when the plat was right there. So that's his argument, that even though we just corrected it and went to there and cleaned it up, it had trees growing in it,
Got a little further go.
that he wants us to get in that swampland back there.
How much is that? 300, 150 feet, 250 feet?
He said that's 739. It's just the end of that plat, but there was nothing done there.
That was paved all the way back into where he's
Yeah,
talking about,
yeah.
is it not?
Yeah, but it was only paved, here's the thing, it was only paved to right here.
Oh.
But he's saying that that's not right according to the 1974 document. Now, all of this was grown up in trees right now.
Right.
I mean, it was, we just went in there and cleared to right here, which is what Toby said was his mistake when he changed the stuff over. But there is no mistake anywhere that says that that road is supposed to go to the end of that plat.
And his proof is this, is that what he's saying?
His proof is that, yes, and do you want to just take it and look at it and review it?
I'm gonna have to look at this one.
Because his proof is that they would have never stopped the road and not gone all the way to the end of the plat right there.
So
You see what I'm saying?
basically,
Like-
he's reasoning, saying there was no reason to stop the road.
Right, and he's saying when you come in, if this house wanted to build its driveway, it wouldn't have, it would have to stop right there. It would have to build its driveway
Back there.
between, this is that plat right here that whether he wanted to sell it or somebody else, that this is where we stop at the road, you know, that they would have to build their driveway just right there in that section. This is where we're currently stopping. He wants it to come all the way back to the end of the flats.
Let me, is somebody fixing to build back there now, or what's the reason?
This
for
has
him
been going
wanting it
on
now?
since Don, I think Don Posey turned him down several times.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. This has been going on for 20 years, he said. Toby did say that he went in switching the document further according to the 1974, and I'm not even sure, you know, the standards for adopting a road now. And he said, we adopted that as a road, that says right of way, but I don't know what that means. So I just need to, I'm presenting this to the board and get an attorney to come back with some kind of clarification.
My knee jerk, and I need to clarify this more than what I'm fixing about to say.
Right.
My knee jerk is that just because he thinks it should go to the end of that plat, especially if Don Posey basically had told him something different years ago, my knee jerk is his solution to this is to get that part maintained back up to whatever our standard is today, and then we could accept it. That would be my knee jerk.
I don't think it's built up in that area.
In other words, it's no road bed, it's no nothing. It's,
That's never
well, then that's
trees.
probably why the county stopped where they stopped, because it was a swamp.
I think a lot of times what happens is the county go out and collect right-of-way signatures for the amount of right-of-way that's needed. So apparently they didn't need the rest of that, and they just didn't, you know, but he's probably saying, well, I gave them permission to use it, so they should have went, I don't know. I don't know.
I think his confusion is just because he gave permission to use it doesn't mean we have to accept it.
Correct. And I could be totally wrong.
But you want to accept it, right?
I don't know if it was, this has been going on for 20 years. I just came in, he's gotten more done, he said, in this term than he ever has. Because there was some things that proved that you went to a certain point. But past that point, you know, I don't know that they're ever, so it was my understanding, developers build the roads and then we adopt them.
That's correct.
So I don't know, but he's saying the road was in 1974. They gave us the road, so I just need.
But was the road there? I mean, did we actually build a county road to that point?
Or did he build a county point and we adopted it to that point? I don't know. So this is the documentation I have. I'm just saying there's some more since we approved to go legally. Get him to a little more. That's all I have.
Well, all that we can do is just put on the minutes that we're going to extend King Arms Road by 200 feet and be done with it. I mean,
that's all we can.
What does it go entail? Actually, you said it's swamp property, so that means it's.
He said he couldn't find the rock because it was swampy back there, mosquitoes and stuff. I'm just using his verbiage when he came in the other day. I haven't walked back that far. I had been on the part that he said, and you could dig down there and find that there was at one point a road. You could see that. But that's to the point that new construction or whoever's already been out there and cleaned off. Okay.
But beyond that.
But on that is what he's saying. We were supposed to go to the end of the plat, and we need to go X amount of feet further to get to the end of that plat. Because if he were to sell that plat of land, that constituent couldn't build a driveway. They would have to have only this much of road. The rest of it wouldn't be a road.
But it's a possibility all that could be developed, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's possible. If it's okay with y'all, I'd like to get with Toby and plat this. If I can figure out where this is platted to, it will tell me everything I need to know. You may make copies of this.
You can take it with you, but just
That's a good
keep it.
solution.
But you got the documents.
I've got them.
Okay, all right. That's all I had on that. Thank you, Mr. Baggett. I thought it might entail your.
Thank you, Mr. Baggett. But would you at least keep up for the first year this new equipment that's to hit the market, all of the repairs that we have to make on it?
I will. What we decided about Longview Road?
To let Mr. Attorney
Thank
call
you, Attorney.
first.
Well, like I said, my suggestion, go ahead and grade and grab. That's me. I'm just saying, y'all got my support to do that.
Well, now, I agree with getting the people in and out, but
Which I know it's gonna take more than just.
Well, I guess, hold up just a second, Mr. Baggett, to that question about Longview Road.
Can you get an answer before it starts raining on Thursday?
I will talk to them, I'll try to talk to them today. And you know,
As soon as he finds out, he'll call you.
Would you be available this afternoon? I'd really like you there, because you understand this better than I do. And sometimes I'm getting engineer talk that doesn't make any sense to me, so if you and I could get together.
But now you need to go ahead and go on grade and put the gravel on today. We won't need to wait till Thursday now.
I said before it rains. He said he could get an answer today.
Well, now this is just one time. I mean, if he do it one time and get it in good shape, then maybe we'll have all this straightened out before the next time.
This was the second time.
Hey, it's the day Sunday now. I mean, you ain't no need of y'all.
Tell you what, Mr. Baggett, go in there and grade that road, please. I mean, if they're gonna get onto us for helping the folks, then
and,
they
and
just have to get onto
for
us.
the future, maybe, I don't know if we do this pre-awarding a contract, at the pre-construction meeting.
Yes.
Where everybody needs to sit down and completely totally understand who's responsible for what, and if you don't do that, what's gonna happen, and.
Well, without getting too deep into it, there was a meeting like that. And, you know, it's kinda like a Rubik's Cube. This side was yellow, this was pink, and this is blue. It is just,
And got all
man.
tangled. Well, maybe.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery that, we grade, Longview Road. Second by Supervisor.
Grade and
Trainer.
gravel.
Grade and gravel. Second by Supervisor.
Will you amend that?
Trainer.
Will you amend that to talk about that attorney's gonna call today and
yes.
talk, I mean, will you amend your motion?
Yeah, to amend
Okay.
it.
With Attorney Robinson's, call to,
Phillips.
Philip.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dancer wear me out with it too.
I'm telling you.
Every time I see her, she wear me out. Feeling
Yeah.
over well
Who?
I am. Mrs. Dancer.
Oh,
Ms.
yeah.
Dancer.
She's sweet as can be, but she
The
can't
road is in
understand
bad shape.
Yeah.
how hard we're fighting
Yeah.
for it.
I
She can't
tried
get it.
to tell them, I said,
All
Have
in
to win her
favor?
heart. Yeah, have to
Motion
win her heart
carries
every
5-0.
time.
Moving forward, do we need to take a break?
we just
So
about
we
to
need
the
a motion.
Ready to
Problem.
take a recess
If not,
after we're
let's
through with this one,
recess.
so let's go on.
If not, let's continue on.
Can I step out and make a quick phone call? I just need to make a quick phone call. Y'all go ahead.
Okay, moving forward within,
Cannabis.
Chancellor Clerk business, Ms. Livingston.
I have a couple of things. The first thing I have is that we had no CD for the month of October, and the funds remain the same.
Second motion.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Trey with no CDs. All in favor? Motion carried. Four.
The second thing I have is we got approval from the Department of Revenue for the 1 mil for the real and personal assessment rolls for 21 through 22.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. There any questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
Another thing I have is I've got to renew the Synergetics contract for my office.
You're okay with it? You good with it?
Well, we don't have an IT person, so I've got to
You
renew
got
it.
to, yeah. Motion for approval.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, renew the contract, Senator. Are there questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
And the last thing I have is to acknowledge the proof of publication that we put in the paper for all the motor graders, the wheel loader, the bulldozers and all that.
Proof of publication, motion
Yes, sir.
for approval by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there questions? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
And I believe that's all I have.
Question, Ms. Sharon, and make sure you're done now, if you're done.
I'm done.
All right, so the interest on our COVID relief money that we got, we were free to spend that. And remember, we had talked about, we as a board had talked about helping get new computers down there in your office. Do we know what interest has been accumulated from having that COVID money in the bank? I mean, we had a 0.15% interest. I know it's not much, but
John, the interest we're getting is not enough to even transfer.
Right.
What? There's no way $4.6 million.
He is reconciling the bank statement monthly. Come over to the office, we'll show it to
Okay,
you.
okay.
It's not worth the trouble.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, they ain't adding it right. My math says it was gonna make $72,000 a year. No?
It's not gonna make $72,000 in 5.
No.
Well, they, I'd like to know the interest rate that they got us
Come by
at.
the office, John, so you
Okay,
can look
I
at
got
it.
you. Yes, ma'am.
You have anything?
No, I'm
else?
sorry.
Let's move forward, county business administration.
You have payroll changes in your packages for approval.
Motion for approval.
Motion for approval on payroll changes, Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor, Trainer. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Got an invoice from Pritchard Engineering for $424 for road.
Motion for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Trainer. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
We need to approve the application grant. This is actually, we're the pass-through source for this money. It comes from the state, but we send it to the hospital. For the ambulance services, the EMSOF grant application will process.
So move.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Trainer. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
We need to do an interfund transfer for the tax assessment office. He found out after we completed the budget that the advertisement went up. And so he and I talked about it, and I told him I would have to come to the board to do an interfund transfer. But he didn't find out till after we had completed the budget.
Motion for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Questions? All in favor?
Yeah.
Motion carries 4-0.
We need a board order to, the Watson Ward and Stafford, the letter of understanding / engagement. Need a board order for that.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Questions? Watson Ward and Sanford, letter of understanding and engagement. Questions? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
We need a board order to request for the funding, the funds and funding a grant agreement for the Oxtock Road improvement, which is the Senate Bill 2971.
You wanna make the motion?
Yeah, motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Miller. Any questions? We need money, let's get it. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
While
carries 5-0.
we're on that note, I was told by Austin Barber, who came and spoke with us, that, of course, we can ask for anything, but they need that ask to present to the state legislative body. And, I mean, we can ask for whatever, but I'm asking for the state to provide up to $1 million for the Maven Sturgis Road. We need a formal board order so he can take it to the state legislative body, and this is one of our asks.
I thought when he was here, we prioritized 3 things for him to take and ask.
Well, he's saying he needs an official board order. That's what he said, and then also Senator Bart Williams, I talked with him, said that they need a board order
Yeah, you
saying.
gonna have to have a board order. You need a board order.
That's what, so I mean, we can make.
You just do all 3 of them.
We can do them all 3.
Different board order.
I don't have a problem with it, but that's what they're saying they need from us. To, in other words, it's not, well, we need all we can get, it's putting it in a box that this is what we need. So I mean, if we wanna ask for funding on something else, but that's what he said he needed. So my
We had to
motion,
create that resolution.
yeah, is to
I
create
was
a,
wondering whether or not they created the resolution, whether he created the resolution the last time in relation to the Oxtock Road. We did have a resolution
Yeah.
pertaining to the Oxtock Road, but I don't know who created it.
They did. They just needed a unanimous board order from us.
yeah. So whatever it may entail, my motion is that we ask for $1 million for the Maven Sturgis Road project.
Okay. Want take those one
Second.
by one, cause we got three, I believe. So,
Can I ask, and this is just an ask, can we circle back and get through this and circle back, because the resolutions are gonna, this may get longer. In other words, I can kind of keep it incorporated.
You just wanna do everything else and we circle back to that?
If that's
Okay.
okay.
Y'all all right with that? We'll table that too.
Continue on.
Yeah.
We approve the letter of understanding from the Washington Water Sampson Alcott Road, we approve that one, too.
Yes, we have a credit card charge for October in the amount of $171.75.
Motion for approval.
Motion for approval, Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
We have the payment for claim docket number 215-497 in the amount of $3,377,792.71.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 4-1.
Okay, and just one other thing, I sent out an email giving you, I think we need to set the redistricting date with Toby, and there was a conflict with one of you. So I sent an email out for 2 dates. I need to know so Toby can lock us in.
What day is
It
it?
was initially the 18th at 10. Somebody said it didn't work for them.
Yeah, that didn't work for me.
So I sent out 2 dates.
I can be there on,
What was the other day, the 11th?
Yeah, that one is.
Not the 11th, then, the 10th. What was the
I think
other
it was
date?
the 10th and.
I'm good with any of that.
Okay, I need you all to decide and let me know so Toby can lock us in.
I
I'm
thought
good
it was
with
the 8th, and I couldn't come that day, but I think I'm okay on the 18th. Or was it the 22nd or something? I can't remember. Okay.
I'm good any of these days. I
I'll
don't have
send out the
anything.
email this afternoon and you all
November.
let me know. I can't remember this. I know the 18th was what we was going with initially.
You said 11th.
The 11th,
That's a
we're
Thursday.
closed that
I'm
day.
thinking it's the 10th. I don't know. I'll
I
email you.
think it was the 9th and the
Veterans Day.
10th.
Must be
I
the
believe.
10th then. The 10th is a Wednesday, 9th is
I'll
Tuesday,
resend. I
Tuesday,
can't
Wednesday.
remember. That's all I have.
I like that before the board meeting on the 15th, cause not just vacation time is coming up for Thanksgiving, but we have to be, one of us should be in a meeting on the 18th to bring the legislators and the county, the city up to date on economic development that is taking place
Did I say?
in our county.
I'm good with the 15th if we want to do it before the 5:30 board meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that.
I mean, could we, if that would work that work with Toby, you think?
The 15th?
Before the 5:30 board meeting?
Maybe 3 or.
I'll reach it out. I'll
something.
tell them,
How
what
long
time
you
were you
think?
saying then?
I mean, just, it shouldn't take more than an hour, should it, y'all? Can we do it 4:30? Or 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. Let's just say 4 o'clock. Give us some wiggle room.
Give us some wiggle, yeah.
I'll email them and I'll let you all know.
Okay.
15th at 4 o'clock?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So that means the board meeting is gonna be at 5:30.
Yeah, that'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, man.
That's good.
Okay.
I like
I'll
that.
email
I
you.
like that.
I'll bring snacks.
Okay.
I didn't think we were needing the last time, but we
Shoot
did.
with you, they came in handy, man.
That's all I have so far.
Thank you,
You're welcome. Thank you.
County Administrator. Our County Administrator. Thank you.
Flattery goes a long way.
We're only running 45 minutes behind schedule right now. We're doing good, Rob. We're only 45. According to the schedule, we're only 45 minutes behind where we should be right now.
Okay.
We're doing wonderful.
Board Attorney.
Anything that I've got will be said in executive session, so we can skip.
All right.
County Business Supervisor.
Yes,
Capital Triangle Link.
I would like to make the motion to,
Appointment.
for the link board, I would like to make the motion to put Bob Daniels on as the, our representative on the link board.
And I'd like to make a nomination for Tyrone Ellis.
Okay.
I'll second Bob Daniels.
Can we take
Because
them
I
under
think because of the
consideration
makeup of it.
and have them come before the board and talk to us?
Yeah.
I would like to do that.
Okay.
Have both nominees come before the board and talk to us, and then make an appointment.
That'll work.
That's a great way to do it.
Okay, all
I'll get their information
Okay, so
and
we
let
wanna
you all know.
table,
right, okay.
we wanna table that motion, table both motions until we get both candidates before the board.
Yeah. That'd be fine.
And,
I'll
I'll see
rescind
if I
mine.
can get them to come to the next meeting. We are behind on this. This should have been done September 30th.
Okay.
Prior to October 1st.
Okay.
It's November 1st. So.
See, can you get them here for us then,
I
so we
will.
can go ahead?
I will.
Okay.
I'd like to make an appointment for Starkville, Octagon County Public Library Board of Trustees with Sue Minshew.
I second
She's
that. I
expressing
think
interest
she's
in-
been there before, hasn't she?
Been there before and has knowledge of what's going on there.
There's a person that's serving an unexpired term. If I'm not mistaken, cause I saw the email, and that person has expressed a desire to continue to serve too, if I'm not mistaken.
There's some conversation about it. I got the email also. I have to read them.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be taken under consideration.
Okay,
Somebody
yeah.
stepped up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
I
see,
was
I
under
was
the
thinking
impression
that
it
they
was
didn't
two
I
know.
was thinking had a vacant
Yeah, there's a vacant.
position.
That
Two
was-
positions.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it was two separate positions.
yeah, I think it was. I think
Yeah.
one was vacant and that's who the
So this,
person,
this
but the other one.
recommendation came, I believe, from the director of the library board,
Yeah.
so I think that person wouldn't know whether it really is a vacancy or not. So that would be pending the fact that there is a vacancy, I make that nomination.
What was her
Moving
last
forward would be
name?
Moving forward.
Minshew.
Sue Minshew.
Minchew. So the motion is what is the motion?
Pending that the position is open.
Pending position is on. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Do we need to double back to the Maven Sturgis Road or whenever
So
Rob?
motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor, who
Howard.
second that?
Howard.
Howard, second by Supervisor Howard. So, okay.
When he gets caught up, you good? All right, so I think we had that motion tabled, and I will again make that motion to ask ask for the $1 million from the state legislative body, per the recommendation of our bonding, our lobby group, to ask for $1 million for the Maven Sturgis Road project to go along with my county and state aid fund money.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Trainer. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Have another motion to something similar to that?
It was, the three of them were
Maven
Sturgis.
Was it Crawford Road?
Crawford, which one was it?
Crawford, yeah, Crawford.
County Lake.
County Lake.
The County Lake or the County Lake Road?
County Lake levy,
The levy.
that levy is what we were, yeah.
You got a motion on that one?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion, to ask for $10 million for the County Lake.
Do we
levy.
know yet? Do we need full replacement?
What?
I mean, have we
we're
gotten the
asking-
documentation?
We're asking, I mean, right now, we're presenting asks, and we don't have to have the full amount if we don't need the full amount. But right now, we're in the process of asking, so.
I'm just asking, since we're having this new engineering firm, and you tell me it's in your district, but if the documents are different and we don't need a full replacement, would we not have a better chance getting funding, if a full replacement's not needed? We don't know that yet, right? Because we haven't seen the
Probably
documentation.
would, but I mean, what do we ask for? Do we not, I mean, we can't base our ask on unknown,
Well, that's kind of what we were doing before, because there wasn't documentation to back up the ask for the first time for full levy replacement. We were never in compliance. I'm just saying, that's why it wouldn't move forward
but
before.
we're at a time-sensitive situation here. I mean, if I hold up and don't ask for anything, and this, you know, I don't get
Yeah.
my ass in.
Well, no,
then
no,
just out
I'm
in the
not
cold.
saying we shouldn't. We agreed to get this new engineering firm. I'm just asking, attorney, it wasn't, what?
I have two questions first. Are we, before I go too far down the road, Crawford Road and is gonna be a separate,
Yeah.
how much we asking for Crawford Road? That's an easy one.
$1 million.
Okay, $1 million. I'm just trying to make sure I get my
And $1 million
numbers right.
for maintenance
All right,
purposes.
on the county lake levy, Tillamook County Lake levy, I'll be very honest with y'all, we're not gonna get $10 million for any individual project would be my knee jerk. However, these asks are going to have almost question marks at the end of everything, so I don't have a problem with whatever resolution we wanna do, because this is just what we're asking for. We're not gonna, I'm not trying to be ugly, I'm just trying to be honest.
Well, you're right, right.
We're not gonna get $10 million. Now, we may want to make a ask based, and what we may do, based on, you could put in the rest of this document that we're asking for, the ask being based on what engineering projections are. In other words, don't put a number, put an amount based on whatever engineering projections are. That would be something that could be supplemented.
And I hear this, but how much is that gonna help me if I send something that's saying loose-ended like that?
I think it's gonna help probably as much as the other two resolutions are, to be real honest with you. And y'all, I've never been anything but honest with y'all. This stuff is gonna come down to the last 2 days of the session, and there's gonna be a lot of.
Well, while we're talking about that, let me just be honest with this conversation. The chances of us getting money for that end of the county is slim to none. You're gonna get your biggest support from certain areas in this county that's gonna put the political push behind it. And what this board is gonna have to do is say, okay, let's be realistic and let's go for the money that we are almost sure we can get in certain areas. But then we're gonna have to say, okay, well, if I got $1 million in my district over here, I'm willing to say, okay, since I've got an extra $1 million, I'm gonna give up some of my, and try to help out the county that way, because now, it's just realistically, there are certain areas in this county that's gonna get the political push and the support to get this money into those areas. I would hate to see this board waste a session on something that we got little to no chance of getting.
I think we have a good shot at getting some money for the county lake. I just don't know what that number looks like. I know from my standpoint, it's gonna be something that, look, I want that off of the table. I want that done. The amount that we get, keep in the back of your mind, we've actually gotten 2 or 3 years in a row a chunk of money. Before that,
Yeah, but what area did it go to? I mean,
Longview Road got
I get
some.
what you're saying. What I think Supervisor Howard's saying is, in other words, we make these asks, and whatever comes back, be it $1 million, $500,000, $1.5 million, whatever, then as a board, we need to consider that a part of the whole, and then reappropriate it, because that's why some areas are getting it, some areas are not. It don't. Everybody in the county is paying for that lobbying group, but not everybody's getting the equal benefit, and that's the problem that really, that's what leaves us short.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And leaves our constituents short.
Can
And
we
it's-
reappropriate it? Can we reappropriate it?
Reappropriate.
If they fund some money for a particular road, those dollars have to go to that particular road.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But
And
your
now
other
the
money
second
doesn't
part-
have.
But the other monies don't.
Now,
Right.
yeah,
What I'm saying, a particular project will be funded in a certain area,
Right.
but if that certain area gets that $1 million boost into that certain area or that certain district, then that district has gotta be willing to say, okay, well, I'm gonna give up some of my other monies to go and help somewhere else in the county. That way the whole county is benefiting, rather than saying, yeah, give me this 2 million here, I want all my other money, and so be it, the other parts of the county.
For me, I thought it was, for me, on the county like levy, for me, is that we are going to fix what is needed. And that was the point of the new engineering group, because we were never in compliance to have the documents that we needed to support full replacement that was being projected. So I thought the point of hiring this new group and the taxpayers paying for this service again, that we were waiting for them to come back. I'm in support. I'm in support.
But
So,
I'm saying,
so we can't,
do we not ask?
so why do we ask for full replacement if we don't know that we need that yet?
I'm saying, do we not ask?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying don't ask, I'm just saying,
Do
I'm
we have
asking,
Okay, do we have time to wait to ask? That's a more pertinent question.
well, when do we have to have the resolution by? When do y'all go into special session? Or session?
Session starts in
January.
The
Can you reach out to, Pickering Group and see if they've got the drilling report and stuff yet?
So are we gonna hold up on all asks then?
No,
Well, no, I think,
that wasn't, my point wasn't that we're not going to ask for the levy, because I think we need to address the issues and get those fixed. I was under the impression the reason we were hiring this second group to go back in and drill for voids and all those types of things that they've been doing
Okay.
was to
And
have the
I get all that, but
documentation.
let me ask you this then. Should we just ask for $4 million? We've gotta ask for something. We know, since we know it's gonna be at least $4 million worth of work. That's with replacement of dams and emergency spillways, so.
I would rather, this is just me, I would like, if we were going to do it that way, I would like some wording to be up to a certain amount, whatever that amount is. I'm not
Okay.
trying to get into the middle of what amount we ask for.
Right.
That way, you're not, and whatever amount we think it's gonna be, I'd rather ask for a little over that, just to make certain that I'm covering myself, and then be able to work my way down, whatever that number is.
can you put also in the ask, and I'm saying in lieu of the new group that's doing the boring, and they have been out there boring, by the way.
They finished boring last
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, they were there.
They finished the boring part, and this ain't really got nothing to do with asking. We've gotta ask for something. I mean, we can't, I'm not gonna agree to sit here and wait and not ask. But they finished the boring last Wednesday. They sending it back now for analysis. They were out there boring about 3 days. They bored on the downstream side, on the upstream side, up on the road, and they got several different boring locations in there. Now they'll send it back for analysis. And I don't know how long it'll be before they get things analyzed and send us a suggestion on what needs to take place. But in the meantime, I guess, are you saying, telling me not to ask for anything until
I don't think anybody's saying that. I mean, that's the reason
but when do we ask? How much time do we? I don't wanna miss a chance to ask. I'm not gonna miss an asking chance.
I think we need to shoot at it.
Let's ask.
Why not ask, and then, I mean, because you can include on that one, not only the county lake, the road, the dam, the spillway, because that affects the road.
Well, those are the things that's already been determined that's got to be done. A new emergency spillway, a new larger spillway with a new control valve. At least, if not the core, but at least it's already been determined that your slopes, you've got to increase your slopes tremendously. So you
That's what I'm saying. There's plenty of places to ask for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
whatever number we come up with is good with me, and it's gonna be good with our legislative body. The reality is that I would prefer to get something down now, so that we can at least get the process.
Well,
Can we do this? Can we have an ask and say for needed repairs and not say full replacement? Because in my mind, we're dictating something we don't know yet to be true. So we're asking for full replacement. Why can't we just word it differently to say up to 10
Well,
million?
that's what he
up-
suggested, and I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem. I don't see why we having this conversation about a particular district asking when we have never in the past told anybody to hold up on your ask for things in your district. I
would prefer to put 10 million in right now, if that pleases this board, and put it in here for the repairs of Octagon County Lake Road, or dam.
Doesn't mean you gotta use it all,
Right.
Okay.
but up to, yeah.
Motion
Up to,
by-
the word up to 10 million.
Yes, sir.
We got a motion by Supervisor Howard, second by.
I'll second that, but did you put Crawford Road in there too?
Crawford
Yes,
Road
ma'am.
is coming next, I believe. Motion by Supervisor Howard, County Lake up to
10 million.
10 million. Second by Supervisor
Miller seconded, she seconded already.
Miller, second by Supervisor Miller. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Supervisor Trainer.
And the same resolutions for Crawford Road up to 1 million. That's the
Right.
motion.
I'll second that.
Second, motion by Supervisor Trainer, second by Supervisor Montgomery. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Good. Like it.
I say shoot at the top of the moon, you might hit the bottom of it, but shoot at it.
At least you.
Supervisor Howard, I kind of go along with you, and I kind of don't go along with you in a way with awarding funds to other districts once a person receives a particular grant.
I didn't think you would.
I
I didn't think you would.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why, and I don't think you're gonna agree neither if you receive the funds.
Uh-huh.
Because you're gonna receive the funds for the county lake. Then what are you gonna do with your state aid money and other money that you have? You wanna take that money to put it with the county lake to finish the project.
I'll be quite honest with you, I have to disagree with that. If he got $10 million for the county lake, I don't think he'd have any kind of problem at all helping somebody with a road or a bridge somewhere else. He'd be so over the moon
Yeah.
that he would be.
Let me finish. I think,
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
I mean-
I think that's stretching the point, however. $10 million would be a 100% repair job and a 100% funding. But we're not talking about a 100% funding in many cases. Prime example, our top road only received $1 million. It costs over $2 million to fix our top road. And we finding out every day that there are other things that need to be replaced. There's a bridge that been there for don't know how long. It rotted out and it gotta be replaced. The estimate on that is around $100,000. We don't know how much our top road is gonna end up causing before it's over with. So if it's all right as long as the shoe is on someone else's foot, but when it comes to you, it's not gonna look as good as you think it's gonna look.
But my point was this though, Supervisor Williams, rather than this board pursuing an endeavor that we have a 10 or 15% chance of getting, as opposed to pursuing an endeavor maybe in your district where there's more political pull and there's, that area has shown over the past that monies are received, funds and grants are received, and us just not getting anything because we want to pursue somewhere, and you have a chance and you get that money, then I'm saying this board should be reasonable enough then to say, okay, well, listen, my district continues to get these funds, so I'm not saying give up all your money, but I'm saying at least, okay, I can take a little of my money and help out on some other projects.
And in some cases,
Yeah.
now, like the Alcott Road project, we might not be able to do that project.
You might not,
And if we start giving money away.
But on the other
If we
hand,
start giving the money away, I know we won't be
if
able
we
to
pursue
get-
something somewhere else and nobody gets a dime, then what has it help?
Like we're going to have more discussion.
I'm just saying.
You wanted the prime area district too, I guess. You
Well, I
you
understand
prepared-
it. I understand how it
Supervisor Miller.
We just
you
keep
are
working at it.
prepared To give up some funds to other, I don't wanna be the only one now.
No, I didn't say just you, I just say it in
Well,
general.
I would think that I've been very diplomatic in that way. I mean, the Poorhouse Road is 2 districts, and I'm covering all the extra costs. The light on the corner of Poorhouse Road, all of that came out, that's 2 districts, all of that money, and that's really county safety for everybody, came out of District 4's monies. So I think that I have always been overly helpful if I'm working on a project to extend the entire project. You know, I've never said, I'm only going this far. You know, and we share that. I mean, so I think that's.
That's not all of it, however.
Forget about that.
Because
You
that was
share,
bond money, Supervisor
Poorhouse
Miller.
Road.
We share
Supervisor Miller.
Poorhouse Road.
Just like you and I share
Yeah,
Longview.
That's right.
But those were bond funds for the lights and some of the other projects you were talking about.
Some of it
There
came
was
out
no
of her
bond for the
money.
light.
No,
That was
the lights
completely
came
out
out
of
of her
I didn't want to start, I'm just saying,
Okay.
it's more beneficial to Octave Hall County if you can get $1 million into Octave Hall County, regardless of what area it's in, and then take some of the other monies and sort of trickle it down to some districts that need some help.
Just some
That's all.
poor old taxpayers.
I was just
That's it.
reminded Supervisor Williams when he said that to me that I'm very.
And you were right.
I'm very giving in that area.
You got a little bit more.
Very supportive.
You got a little bit more bond money than we
Agreed.
got. However, you was able to afford to do so.
Y'all, I didn't want, I just tried to, that's all. We
As long as everybody's willing to give up funds, that's fine with me.
yeah, there you go, there you go.
Do we have anything else?
I just
Turn
need
it
to go
off.
to executive session, I promise you I will keep it short. We are
So
not-
moved.
Motion by Supervisor.
Go to closed
Coleman,
session, correct?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Howard, they will go into executive session.
Closed session with possibility of